friends. And welcome into the firm of Harris and Marang. Patrick Harris. Yo, that's me. That's Danny Marang to my left.
These new opens, man. They got me. I'm used to like a certain,
certain vibe.
And it's like, oh, no, we're starting.
Well, you can blame it over there on Casey Smith on the ones and twos. I promise I will be nice to you today, amigo. You are my buddy. I do love and appreciate you.
And it's not a bad vibe. It's just a different.
It's just a different vibe.
So it just catches me. Whoa. That went down faster than I thought.
It has been noticed on the text line.
We almost lost Danny there for a second.
It has been noticed on the text line and the YouTube chat that I've been a little hard on one Casey Smith of late, where I've decided to pull that back. Pull that back. Although if he starts screaming about me how Ryan Clark got wronged, we're going to have issues there.
No.
Don't.
No.
It is 10:02:01 right now.
It is. I mean, we're sports a little bit here. It is hilarious. I texted you when we were talking about this last night.
Because it happened like during our show or right after our show.
He was on, and I didn't say anything out loud. And I don't hate Ryan Clark. I just roll my eyes at him. He's the Kendrick Perkins of the NFL. And in the back of my head, I was like, why are they paying this guy $2 million a year? Like, just don't care.
Guess what? They're not.
And that was the thing is like, I see that notification pop up, and I'm like, dude got fired on air? That's like, I felt bad.
You could see, I love the Twitter reactions because everyone's like, oh, you could see everyone's reactions to it. You kind of can. On TV as he's, saying stuff.
Well, and you
just see Mina Kimes kind of look down at the phone and look up and go.
Well, because they all are on their phones or laptops refreshing Twitter every 10 seconds, waiting for a Schefter bomb or anything like that.
Or a producer sending them something to say.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got the earpiece in, but sometimes you're talking and you're trying. I mean, I do the same thing. I go during, free agency trade period, I'm sitting over here going click, 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 click while checking my phone and, trying to. And look, being on TV, I've done breaking news on TV. It's like, you're just like, oh, well, when the guy sitting next to you, thankfully he was not in studio. Thankfully he was at home for him. That'd be awkward.
I wish it was the key card doesn't work anymore. I like that approach.
Well, it doesn't.
I like the approach of just, hey, you buzz in, you're like, hey, how come my key card doesn't work there? And whoever's the receptionist just goes on there and they say, I'm sorry, I do not have record of a Ryan Clark as an employee here. This is an employee entrance only.
Yeah.
Then you can go call somebody.
Would you rather go box up your stuff or have it sent to you?
I have boxed up my stuff before. I did not Jerry Maguire it, but there is a little sense. I think it is healthy for you to box your stuff up. I had to box my stuff up because I was fired and I was deserved. I had a little outburst in the office where everything I said was factual and true. Okay. Everything was factual and true.
Where is job?
The problem is I said it a little too loud and it was a little too oppressive to a other coworker.
There you go.
And I'll tell you what, that moment when everyone's like looking at you and not looking at you at the same time and you're just piecing your stuff together and the person sitting next to me in my cubicle was like looking forward and they were like, Patrick, what's going on? And I just said to her, I said, I'm going home. I just said, I'm going home as I put stuff in my box and I walked out, set the box down, took the fob off, handed it to my boss. And I said, thank you.
Big gulps, huh?
And there he exited as he came through the parking lot.
The only time I did that was I was a contractor and we were talking about renewing my contract and me staying on for like another 6 months to finish this project. And, one of the CTOs came in and this guy was just a nightmare, just an absolute nightmare. And just started kind of going off half cocked. And I was just like, I looked at my boss and he just went, you could not have had worse timing. I'm trying to get him to stay to help us fix this problem. And I just looked at my boss and I was just like, nah. And I walked out and closed the door and I heard my boss, who was the director of IT, start screaming at him. Like, congratulations! The guy that's helping us fix all this is gone now. And I did everybody's like, I grabbed the big boxed up my desk, and I talked to the security they had there, and I was like, do you mind if I just go say goodbye? They're like, you're leaving on good terms, go for it. I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I went, place to place to place, and see you later, guys.
I had an escort.
Oh, did you?
I had an escort, not security. It was my boss and HR.
HR? Yeah.
They escorted me, which I didn't take to offense.
It's proper.
I assumed, but I am a little offended that they thought I was going to steal something. Is the only thing, or cause a scene. And maybe that's shame on me. Maybe this personality. I don't know. You guys know this from me doing this show with you. That's not really in my character. But I think previously, when some people don't work like this, like I have, because I've worked really hard to kind of change myself over the years, I think at the time they thought I was going to make a huge scene.
Well, what did you do?
What
did you do to get fired?
Well,
did you make a scene?
Somebody, a little bit, a little bit.
If you made a stinker, people are gonna think that you're gonna.
I got really
doing it.
I got really frustrated at a task that I was working on, and somebody said, "Well, why are they allowed to do that?" And I said, "I don't know, because they're lazy and incompetent, and they are enabled to act that way." And I said it kind of very loud with a little more colorful language. There might have been some bombs in there.
Some bleepity bleeps?
There might have been some bleepity bleeps in there, and it was at like 7:30 in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
And my boss happened to be there, and he comes over to me and he goes, "Hey, man, step aside." And I was like, all right, yeah, I'm busted. And he goes, "You absolutely can't." I go, I know, I'm frustrated. We've talked about this issue before. I should not have lost my cool. You are correct. And he goes, "Okay, I'm serious. Not again." And I went, "Okay." And by noon, I was fired.
Oh, they circled back.
Oh,
huh?
yeah.
Ooh.
Which makes me think somebody in the office was very, very offended by what I said, which they have every right to be. Like, again, look, I deserved what I got there, okay? I deserved what happened to me.
There's no woe is me there?
There's no woe is me. Now, I will stand by the fact that I was not wrong, that employee is lazy and incompetent and enabled. Woosah. So I will not go back on that. However, I handled it poorly and deserve to be escorted out.
I have a very random tangent here because I just opened up my laptop and have one of the tabs open. We're looking at yard games, lawn games for the wedding. So we're going to do some custom
Cornhole.
How much do you
ladder
think,
golf.
How much do you think it costs to have two custom cornhole boards made, like on Etsy?
Ooh, see, I already kind of know this answer because that place that I used to work at would sometimes do this.
Oh, yeah.
They're probably like $400.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, really? You print out some vinyl and you throw some freaking sealant over the top of it. Like, what?
You're getting high quality bags.
No, I was just gonna do the corn bags. I'm not getting resin bags.
You gotta get high quality.
Yeah,
bags.
dude, you got to get the resin bags.
Come-
Or fill them with sand. Sand works too.
But that's not the expensive part. Like,
Wait,
that's like $30.
Whoa. Let's back this up. I just learned something. Cornhole used to be filled with corn kernels?
Yeah.
Sorry, that's the wazoo in me.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to play this game to get drunk.
Nice
I don't know anything else about it.
This is
Thanks,
good.
dude. Channeling my Isaac drop. My inner Isaac. I didn't know that. I just learned something. That's pretty cool.
Trip to Home Depot, you made $50. I was like, well, yeah, but I don't want to. But
You don't have a guy? I have a guy that would love to make a cornhole set.
Oh, yeah?
If I was like, dude, I need a cornhole set, but like, don't make me any of that garbage. You'd be like, done. Cost of materials only.
I might do this. I got this thing that's called a Cricut. It's this digital like cutter to use for like all of the baking stuff, and I could make the design like on Photoshop or something along those lines. It's spelled CRICUT. It's probably about 20 plus inches wide, but you can do all these crazy things with it. It's like you can program it to cut it out basically whatever you want. So we can use it for cake toppers, for vinyl signs. You can make T-shirts. Like you can do like, it's nuts. So I could do the design. I'm just like, right now I'm living in an apartment, so I'd have to go over to my parents' house, use the shop up there to go, sand this thing down, build it together, and, make it all pretty. And I was like, it seems like a lot.
You sound like me.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you know this. I'm getting married in 33 days.
I did know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't, I honestly, I can't get away from it.
Yeah.
That's all I hear. It's all I hear in my sleep.
Because it's a month away. And it's like, yeah, it's go time.
Patrick's asleep and he goes, table 7 needs ranch. Danny's getting married in 3 weeks.
So
I
yeah,
hate Tom Dundon.
we're looking at like little party
Shane Sharp
favors.
sucks.
We did do the ladder golf.
Scoot Henderson update.
There you go. We did do the ladder golf though with the Velcro.
That would. I'm going to tangent here real quick. That would be really hilarious if in 20 years my wife wakes me up from like rambling in my sleep and it's just about Scoot Henderson's injury. And if we have an update,
Wake up.
Scoot's been out of the league for 15 years. Had a nice career, but he's been out of the league. I'm like 75. Scoot. She's like, who is Scoot? Are you cheating on me?
I mean, it would be Scoot.
It would be Scoot.
Good looking guy.
The velour suit, the goggles. I need the goggles back, bro.
Are you pro cornrow Scoot or fro Scoot?
Oh, I like fro Scoot.
Yeah.
I'm fro Kobe over bald Kobe. If you can do the fro,
That's the thing is
you got to do it.
Scoot has like ABA fro.
Yeah.
Like it's Dr. J fro. It's so good.
The only fro I'm anti is Shaka Smart, only because I'm mad that you hid that from us for so
because
long.
he shaved it.
Yeah, well, because he was bald forever, and I was like, oh, baldman. He's probably bald because he can't grow hair. No worries, he's a good-looking guy anyway. Then he grew the fro, and I was like, bro, you look better. Why?
He's in the tight fro.
Oh, he's a good-looking dude.
It's when you've got good lettuce and you just shave your head, it's like, come on, man, what are we doing here?
Yeah, like Marcus Freeman, he can't shave his head. That's a good head of hair.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good head of hair.
Yeah, it's I can't give him too much credit.
I was told Micah Nori's hair in person was really nice.
Yeah, I think I told you that.
I think you did, yeah.
Is Marcus Freeman's hair a little painted?
Ooh, is it? He can't be that old. He can't need painting. Well,
Yeah,
I'm 40 and I'm done. So I guess
He's younger than us, isn't he?
I'm just saying.
I don't think so. I think he's slightly older
the
than us.
edges on his hairline are rather sharp.
Well, he probably gets it cut every single day. He's 40. He's younger than me.
surprised.
Say
at
he's
that.
younger than us. No,
Dang.
I think Freeman's got the Jalen Rose. I think he just maintains.
You
that
could
thing.
look up the first image of Marcus Freeman. He's got the boozer. The first Google image.
Oh, I
of
see
Marcus
it.
Freeman.
You are correct. It is a
the
little
Carlos
boozer.
Oh,
I take it back.
do we need to have a talk?
I take it back. Marcus
never-
Freeman, you're dead to me.
Do we need to have a talk with Marcus?
That's painted. That is painted.
I will say for when I went to do my engagement, my barber, he gave me they call it like highlighter spray to really pop the edges, and all it did was make my gray look not as gray on the edges. And I was like, oh, that's like paint.
No, that's different. This is
Yeah.
keeping it all together.
Well, we saw it the other day. LeBron finally shaved his head, and he looks good.
Yeah, it looks
He looks
great.
great. Yeah, he looks fantastic.
It's like, yeah, dude, it was so funny.
he
The first
probably waited the perfect amount of time to do it, though.
Yeah, LeBron. Well, I mean, I think he waited too long because he did do the paint and he did do the plugs. Remember,
Yeah, he did.
his headband pulling the plugs out was. How does that go? Like it gets buried.
And do you, like, what happens when you take the headband off in the locker room and, like, Kelly Olynyk is there and looks at you and just like, yo, bro, LeBron, your hair, put a hat on.
The first 2 inches.
Yeah, or how do you not just roast him? Because he's LeBron James.
Yeah, probably.
You surround him with a guy like Anderson Varejao with the big hair, and then Chris Anderson Birdman with all the tattoos,
And
you're not
Ilgauskas
necessarily
with,
looking
like-
at the hairline anymore.
And Ilgauskas has, like, the Homer Simpson 3 lines of hair, and you can be like, well, look at these guys, man. Like,
well, he's Eastern Bloc.
pay
so-
no attention to the man behind the curtain. Oakley Doakley, we got a great show for you today, right? Gazaway is going to join us in studio in the 11 o'clock hour. We'll have him for a half hour. We'll react to that as well. So we will get into some Blazers stuff. I know there was a new piece by a local reporter that I suppose we can get to in a little bit. Free consultation Tuesday, 503-864-6326. But let's start. It's SEC Media Days, and Greg Sankey ain't holding anything back. We'll start there. 105.1 The Fan and the Fan Sports Network.
The biggest.
bottom of Harris and Marang on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
1019 here, Portland Sports Leader. Don't you forget it, baby. We are live from the shadows of the historic Fremont Bridge on a sizzling Tuesday. 503-864-6326 is the fan text line. She'll let you interact with us throughout the entire day. There's the YouTubes as well. 105.1 The Fan is the channel. Like, subscribe, jump in the chat. We're having a great day. A little bit of breaking news. The Portland Timbers have named Marty Cifuentes officially the head coach of the Portland Timbers. For programming notes for you, I will sit down with Ned Grabavoy this afternoon and have that for you on Timbers Fan. A little bit of moving pieces. So going to be kind of a funky Timbers Fan for you tonight, but we'll get it together. Ned Grabavoy again at 1 o'clock with yours truly. I'm excited to talk to Ned and learn more about Marty Cifuentes. Is that what we're trying to call him, Casey? Marty Supreme? Marty Cifuentes? Can we call him Marty Supreme? Is that an insult? I mean, that character's quite unlikable.
Yeah. I was going to say, is there any way you can really...
That's why I went Cifuentes instead of Cifuentes. Cifuentes. We're gonna have to workshop this.
You might as well just call him Marty McFly.
Ooh, McFly. Ooh, he is he is a good-looking dude. Okay, all right, we'll workshop this throughout the show.
If he wears a vest one time, you have to.
Oh, like the puffy vest. Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's a soccer manager. He's got a vest.
He might.
Oh, come on, might.
Maybe we'll drop that in free
I'm pretty
consultation.
sure Pep lived in one.
I think you're right. Yeah, for a while. Then he just went to turtleneck.
Yeah, but he lived in a light puffer vest for, I want to say, like 6 years.
Yeah, you might be right.
So
you might be right. Only in England, though. You don't want that vest in Spain.
No. But I mean,
Germany in the late summer.
No,
gonna pass on that.
England, it's 60 all year round. But heaven forbid, did you see the videos that came out of the World Cup? There was a group that
I saw a lot of videos come out of the World Cup.
That. But there was a media group. I can't remember who it was. I think it was out of Boston. No, because it was somewhere warm. I think it was Texas, down in Dallas area. Bunch of Europeans, particularly Brits. They were interviewed as they came into Texas.
Okay.
And they were asked about, because the AC stuff was going on in England and, everybody being, it's so hot. I'm dying. It's like 82 degrees, by the way. And they're like, well, Americans, their weather is a lot more consistent, so they can be used to it. And like the amount of just stupid things that they were saying over and over again about the U.S. and the weather and how big things were and how small things were and how hard it was hilarious. They followed this like same kind of group of like 150 people throughout the World Cup. And by the end of it, they were like, it's so much hotter. It's so much bigger. I understand why everybody who comes to England is like, why are you complaining? Like, I have never walked around in like 95-degree heat with, 90+% humidity for weeks on end. How do you survive this?
Here's the 10-day forecast. 97, 98, 83, 85, 77, 79, 77, 83, 86. So you're just going down and then back up.
The consistency.
Real consistent.
And heaven forbid you get a little further south. Like, dude, I've lived in some of the craziest climates this world has to offer. I'll never forget being in North Dakota and getting there and it was snowing, and a week later it was 96 degrees. And I'm just like, what the heck is this?
First time I ever walked into the South, I walked out of the Atlanta airport, which, by the way,
getting
God, I
punched
hate that.
in the face.
It was 10:30 at night, punched in the face.
Yeah, it's just like you chew on the air.
Awful. Walking around Nashville, awful.
I don't understand.
Uphill in Asheville, North Carolina, awful. Although I like Asheville.
Oh yeah, that's a nice spot. But I never understood how like hip hop culture in the late 90s, early 2000s, Atlanta hip hop, every music video was double layered t-shirts.
Without a doubt.
And I'm just like,
and baggy pants.
How are you living right now?
Yeah.
How are like your jeans weigh 13 pounds and you've got, 20 ounces of t-shirt on.
Yep.
How are you not dying?
Well, look good though.
To be fair, most of those music videos are shot during the wintertime.
Fair. But I mean, it was just like, again, the idea of like being in Atlanta in the summer, because the sun's out, but it's just, it's made to look more like summertime. But
I mean, it's getting hot in her.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
St. Louis, also humid.
Also, yeah.
Oof.
I've never been to St. Louis.
I mean, honestly, I mean,
I'd like to see the arch.
there-
I'd like to see Mississippi.
there's a lot of
The river, not the state.
I shouldn't say the. Yeah, there you go.
I'm good on that.
There's a lot of really nice areas now. They've dumped a bunch of money into it, but there's also a lot of areas where it's like roll them up.
Yep,
roll them up.
I always think of Chevy Chase
Yep.
on that.
Oh, I mean, don't get me wrong. There's St. Louis and Memphis are two cities where it's like you cross the tracks and you're like, nope, know where I'm at.
Well, speaking of the South, SEC days are going on right now.
It just means more.
It just means more down there. And without any further ado, Greg Sankey, come on down. Taking shots. We don't like this.
They're real. People have talked about that. They've opined about the frustrations that bring them to the point of saying we should look at something significantly different. I do not believe that is a leverage point. I think that's just honest communication. But I also know the pride with which I spoke of 13 national championships, and there is meaning and value. And I do think a national expectation that we participate in a national organization. But that national organization must function in a healthy manner. Otherwise, that simmering will continue.
Look, Greg Sankey's talking about the SEC departing from the NCAA, and there's a lot of moving parts in this. There's the expansion of college football playoff. They now have to play 9 conference games, you poor babies. There's a lot of things that I agree with, disagree, and we can go through all those, but he's kind of not wrong. He's basically, in the sense, do I like the idea of the SEC breaking away? No, I do not. But he's not wrong in the sense that, like, our current leadership right now is fractured and doesn't do its job correctly.
Well, here's the thing. They just took the mask off. It was always that way.
That is true.
That's the difference.
We can just see it a lot more now. To quote Portland City Council, transparency like people want.
There's a lot of that, but it's also the SEC's saying, I want to take my ball and go home because remind me again, who are the last 3 national title winners?
Big Ten.
Oh, weird.
Well, but that's where that argument comes in because they don't play a Power 4 team. They're not required to play a Power 4 team in their non-conference schedule. Shout out Ohio State for actually doing it.
But there's also this
Michigan
line
actually doing it.
like we want an even playing field. No, you don't. You want it restored back to what it was in the glory days of the SEC when there wasn't an even playing field.
If you wanted an even playing field, you wouldn't play the Citadel every year.
Yeah, and I do think that's a scary situation to walk down to because what's the even playing field? The even playing field's the Super Conference.
Yes.
That's the even playing field. Are we willing to bet money that the SEC still reigns supreme in an even playing field?
No.
Then? I don't think I do either.
Look at it right now. To be honest, in my mind, this is the most even the playing field has been in my lifetime.
I would agree with that. I think it's a little toothpaste out of the tube right now. There's a lot of, as we love to say on the show, unintended consequences that were delivered by NIL. The next step that NIL needs is never going to happen, and I think that would make it even better if that did happen. But you're right. Taking off the mask and going into where we are now has made the game better. Okay? Like, I've been kind of estranged from football for a while. I think working with you two has really helped me get my love for football back in. College has been tough, as you can understand, being left at the altar, or not even left at the altar, left as a bridesmaid at the altar. And so that's been kind of tough, but I've really started to embrace it because parity is better than it's ever been. Sure, the Big Ten has won the last 3, but I don't know if I necessarily think the Big Ten is better than the SEC or that the SEC is worse than the Big Ten. I think the playing field has just gotten so much more level that it just happens to be that the Big Ten have won the last 3. Because the top of the Big Ten and the top of the SEC, you're kind of drawing straws for me.
And this is where
in terms of who's better.
Sure. This is where Sankey loses me. He has a line about how it's really difficult for our leaders to navigate all these different states' laws. And it's like, what do you mean? Your states have given you more leeway than the other states have given leeway. Now, you can talk about California and what they've done. Like, they're making it easier for their schools. But you go around the rest of the country, there's no other part of the country than SEC country that is doing anything and everything they can to give them a leg up.
Oh, Florida, Texas, specifically. Tennessee, yep.
Tennessee might be at the literal top. They're going.
The Rocky Mountain?
Rocky Top?
Rocky Top? Sorry,
There you go.
not Rocky Mountain.
I mean, it is. I mean,
It is Rocky and a mountain.
there you go.
But it is Rocky Top, my
That's
bad.
Rocky Top. But it's like they're doing everything they can because, Tennessee is their lifeblood. The Vols, I should say. And with that, you look at it and go, Like, what do you mean you're navigating these different states? Alabama's doing everything they can. Georgia's doing everything they can as states. Florida. Hell, the state of Florida is trying to help Florida State get out of the ACC. You know what I mean? Like, those states are doing everything they can to fight tooth and nail so that you have an uneven playing field.
Right. And I think they're just mad because even though as much as those states are trying to give them the upper hand, the transfer portal and NIL will always reign supreme over that. It just will. So you loosen up some restrictions to get into school? Okay. Loosen up some money in places? Okay,
well, no, it's language about around what you can do and what can allow. Now, the one place where Sankey, I did agree with him, is like they just keep losing lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit. Why? Why, Greg? Why are they losing those lawsuits?
Yeah,
because they had no ground to stand on in the first place.
Exactly, and that's what I want to get into next. We'll put a quick pin in this, take a quick break. We'll come back to a little more SEC days, plus some news and notes from the last couple days as still stuff is trickling out. But let's keep the conversation here with Greg Sankey. That's Casey Smith over there with sports.
Now, from the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
This sports update is brought to you by Mountaintop Metal Roofing. No maintenance, energy efficient, fire resistant, and a lifetime warranty. Do it once, do it right. Visit mountaintopmetalroofing.com. First on the Fan, your Portland Timbers have hired new head coach Marty Cifuentes ahead of tomorrow's matchup against FC Dallas inside Providence Park. The Spaniard brings more than 2 decades of coaching experience, most recently coaching Leicester City. Kickoff set for 7:30 tomorrow inside Providence Park, but make sure to tune in right here on 105.1 FM and 1080 AM when pregame coverage kicks off at 6:30. Some NFL news for you as the Miami Dolphins and linebacker Jordan Brooks have agreed to a 3-year, $51.3 million extension, including $35 million in guarantees, as Brooks is a 2-time league leader in tackles, becoming the anchor of the Miami defense. Brooks now joins running back Devon Achane and center Aaron Brewer, who also signed long-term extensions to stay in Miami this offseason. Over to the MLB, as Nolan Arenado became one of 6 MLB players in history to record 2,000 hits, 350 homers, and 10 gold gloves. Arenado achieved his 2,000th career hit Monday night on a double down the left field line, joining Ken Griffey Jr., Willie Mays, Mike Schmidt, Johnny Bench, and Al Kaline, as Arenado becomes one of 6 active players to have at least 2,000 hits. Your Portland Timbers and for more sports scores and stories in 30 minutes, I'm lowercase from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt, missing work, insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
Your home for the Oregon Ducks, the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
This is Rick Jones of Goldberg Jones Divorce for Men. Child custody.
Hanging out here in SEC Media Days, as that always grabs attention. Side note, Danny, you know what I just realized? When you're setting all this stuff up, obviously, most conferences leave it. They let you have the week. Who's going to be the last media days from the big conferences? Who do you think that's going to be?
Who's that going to be?
I think that's going to be the Big Ten. So they'll take the lion's share at the end. They just look around what everybody else does, and then the Big Ten shows up. Look, Sankey is an interesting character. Obviously, he is very passionate about football. He is very passionate about the SEC schools, and I think the Big Ten does the same thing. And they're different. Petiti is different than Sankey, the commissioner of the Big Ten. But I feel like Petiti, I don't know, maybe I'm trapped in the moment, but I feel like at least Petiti is less bleep the establishment than Sankey is. He seems to go about a little more diplomatic.
Not just that. I think Sankey went about it a little more diplomatically, years ago, because he was at the top of the mountain. When you're at the top of the mountain, you don't. Sankey's kind of.
You don't have to screw you guys. I'm going home.
Yeah, Sankey's putting he's throwing bows because all of a sudden he's looking around and we always talk about this. When we're talking about the world of college sports in particular, or just in general, the idea of power vacuums. When there's power to be taken, it's not just going to sit there. Somebody's going to hoover it up.
Always going to grab it.
Always going to, and that's with everything. Everything in life, there is a measurable amount of power in any situation. Take the Moda Center debate back and forth. Right now, the city of Portland is trying to find some power structure, but it's like there's no power to take.
No, they have no leverage.
And so you're just sitting there going, ah. So the Blazers are sitting there just, okay.
Waiting them out.
Cool. We'll stare you down.
And I think to your point, for the first time, we've seen Sankey have to actually, for lack of better terms, do work. Like actually have to fight for his club again. Now, the point you brought up before we went to commercial break was that the SEC has issues with the lack of institutional control that the NCAA has. Sorsby's situation is what comes big to light right now. And there's also a lot of, complaining about how teams are ranked and how they are viewed by other schools. Like, is BYU a playoff team last year? Probably. Is Texas a playoff team last year? Probably. Notre Dame lost their 2 best games, so, man, that's a tough one for me. Vanderbilt, right on the outside looking in. But there's so much going on that they feel like they can't control, and I think they have a case, unlike the Portland City Council. I do think Sankey and the SEC does have a case that the NCAA can't enforce their own rules. So what's the point? He kind of came out, there's another clip of him kind of saying, we already kind of have our own in-conference rules, and we already kind of follow those, even though the NCAA doesn't mandate on them. And they're talking about Sorsby.
Sure. That
for them, if a Sorsby situation happened, it's like, you're not playing. They're just like, absolutely not. We're not going to even deal with that.
Your bylaws. So
yeah, they're bylaws within the conference that the NCAA doesn't make you uphold, but they're doing it on their own. And that's where I understand where Sankey's coming from. I don't want the SEC to break away. I don't.
No, but you know what this sounds like? Making it mildly political. States' rights.
Kind of, yeah.
Like
conference rights.
Yeah. It's like they're kind of going, well, for this part of the country, for this fan base, for this group of schools, how we operate is going to be different than how you operate in the Northeast, how you operate in the Midwest, how you operate on the West Coast, how you operate in the mountain range. Like there's just different cultural, societal expectations. There's different levels of income. There's different levels of commitment. And again, I'll come full circle to this. Go to the freaking Super League. Like that way everybody's operating on the same umbrella and you're opting into something as opposed to opting out of something else.
Well, I like your analogy there with state rights. The difference between state rights in this situation is that the federales, a.k.a. the NCAA in this situation, the federales have branches of governments, checks and balances, and a Supreme Court to uphold the rules. That's what the NCAA is missing.
There's the states' rights side of this is if you go to the Super League, and it's like the states. You opt into the union.
Yeah.
Instead of opting out and trying to break away, and it's kind of funny, it's the SEC and the South trying to secede.
Whoa. Easy, Rod.
I'm just saying, and I'm just drawing some parallels here. Certain part of the country. But my point is, like, opt into something as opposed to opting out. Have some concessions, have some things that you need to get, and then you can talk about, we don't have to worry about different states and what they're doing. If everybody just opts into something, then you can all meet in the middle on something.
Yeah, I think the problem is that they are currently doing that. The NCAA just has no jurisdiction, really, because every time, as you said, every time they get sued, they lose. Or if they win, it's something that nobody cares about.
But if everybody opts, or
I do like the idea of a Supreme Court for the NCAA.
But that's what I mean. Like
a group of 7 people, 9 people that, not a playoff committee type thing, but like lawyers and people that actually are, these are the rules. Yes, you can have your state laws, your conference laws, but there are ultimate laws. Look, the state of Washington, the state of Oregon can sell marijuana, but the federales say no, which means you still can on a state level, can't cross state lines with it, and you can't bank with it. It's not FDIC insured.
Yes.
So there are those repercussions you have by having your own state laws. That is actually maybe the best thing I've ever heard you say,
No, thank
or
you.
at least help me create the best thing I've ever said.
But you understand what I'm saying, though? It's like
Totally.
But if you
Sorry, I had to pat myself on the back on
it's
that
fine.
one.
Like, but if it's something you're opting into, whatever concessions, whatever gains you get out of it, you can establish again your own tiers of government.
Without a doubt.
Because that's what this whole like Protect College Sports Act thing is. That why I hate it. It's trying to save what was already broken.
It's trying
Start
to save
with something new.
Yeah, it's trying to save something that we've seen time and time again, whether it's 1950 or 2050, that it just doesn't work.
I mean, again, to use a historical example, when they broke away from the English, it was cut. It was, no, we're done. We're going to do things different. We're going to set up a new government.
And then the NCAA comes in and sues them, and in comes King George's men to start a war. And the NCAA, lost that lawsuit just like we did in 1776, USA!
Throw some tea in the harbor. Go start a new government.
You're welcome, USA.
Stop trying to build something with the people that broke it.
I agree. And I think that's where it all comes down. And maybe Sankey he says it's not leverage. And I don't know if it's definitely leverage. But I don't know if it's a threat.
Well,
I think it's more of just like, get your S together. We understand. He has to know. He's not an idiot. He has, unless he's on the Portland City Council.
It's funny that you say that, because that's the exact thing I was just going to say.
But he has to know that if the SEC breaks away and are by themselves, now if they break away with the Big 10 and the Big 12 and the ACC, that's a different story. If they break away by themselves, that could be worse than they realize. You follow?
Yes, and that's. I wanted to make that example comparison to the Portland City Council. The whole idea of, I bet you he's got chancellors and presidents at Alabama, at Georgia, at Vanderbilt, at Tennessee, at Florida, who are just sitting there thumping their chest of, we don't need nobody. We're good. We can go to. No, you can't.
But I bet you there's probably somebody at Mississippi State or Texas A&M or Kentucky who's like, we don't want to go. Like, we don't want to break away.
But you understand? Like,
Totally. There's probably a couple no's in there, but there's an overwhelming that are like, yeah,
but
we don't need you.
What was his name? Mitch Green out there like, you need to come to us. And it's like, again, I'll go full Gandalf here. You have no power here. You're not, like, as big as the SEC is, they're not big enough. You know what I mean? If they were 30 teams.
Yeah.
Then you'd be like, "Ooh, this is
16's not enough for me."
ACC and SEC, you had them together. Now you're, especially you add a Clemson, a Florida State, North Carolina.
You could get away with just Big 10 and SEC together. That's 18 and 16. What is that? 32.
Yeah. But you understand what I'm, like? It doesn't even have to be the Big 10. Like, if they wanted to take the southeast of the country and just roll that together, that's enough. That's enough punching power.
Let's circle back on this in the Big Nooner and get to some more, like, would the SEC actually on their own? I'm glad I said succeed and not secede. We're walking some fine lines here, Marang. We're walking some fine lines over here. We'll circle back around that. A little more news and little nuggies from SEC Media Days. Wright Gasway is going to join us in studio at 11 o'clock. We'll talk Moda Center, Blazers situation, and get you all caught up on that. A little more SEC Media Days next. That's Danny. I'm Patrick. 105.1 The Fan.
The Portland. 1080 AM.
We'll have Wright Gasaway join us here at the top of the hour number deuce, but just kind of finishing up some SEC Media Days, a little things to go through that we learned from this. Did you hear what Will Stein said at Kentucky?
Yeah, he's got maybe 2-3 wins on his schedule, but he's feeling frisky.
Hey, those 2-3 wins are going to be because of him, though.
Yeah.
All right,
Not because they're playing South Alabama
and Chattanooga State.
Oof. Their schedule's nasty. We went through it yesterday. That schedule's nasty.
I know. I don't think we'll get to it today, but at some point, maybe tomorrow, I'd love to get to just like the toughest ranked college football schedules
Real
this
quick,
year.
Florida.
Again, dude, just doing them dirty.
Number 7?
Well, and that's part of that. That's part of the Sankey thing too. Like another reason why you guys have come back to reality from everybody. I heard. I can't remember. I think it was Andy who said it this morning on Dirt and Sprague. Adding Texas and Oklahoma, awesome for your branding, awesome for your marketing, but you just threw 2 fat programs into the mix that now makes everyone's life harder. You wake up and look at the schedule, and now you have 2 more teams you're hoping you dodge this year.
Yeah, I mean, Texas and Oklahoma have the 2 hardest schedules in the country.
I think I saw Arkansas as the toughest schedule in the country.
The one I've got them at, I think they're at like 9 or 10. But yeah, it's not great, Bob. It's not great.
Sounds like John Mateer's hand is fully healthy. Which I'm stoked about. Boomer Sooner.
A year later?
Well, dude, I mean, he kept playing on it. That's the problem. Is like you break your hand that throws the football, and you keep rushing it back. Then yeah, man, it's probably gonna take you some time.
It's fine.
Big year for Oklahoma.
Is it?
Who's got the most pressure in the SEC this year? Do you think? Sark. I mean, Shane Beamer's got to win, or he's getting fired. It's Sark. I know. I was thinking about this on the way in. If there's 2 programs in college football that I will pick to win every single game they play simply because they have the most pressure on them, it's SC in Texas, in my opinion.
Oh,
Lincoln's got a lot of pressure.
I don't think I don't think
it's natty pressure, but there's pressure.
I don't think the pressure is crazy until next year. He wins 9 games.
You're gonna give him another year.
I mean, he wins 9
year
games.
6. He's got to figure it out.
Well, no,
that's a tough sell.
I mean, he's got multiple 10+ win seasons.
Well, I know, but this is year 5. I mean, I'm talking like playoff, make a run.
Oh yeah, no. He wins 9 games this year with that schedule. They'll be in the mix.
But I think you're right. I think it is Sark going into SEC, who's probably got the highest. I mean, I don't think DeBoer's far behind him.
No.
You know, and I know we're going to bring Wright on, and I don't want to trash his alma mater too much. Kirby's got some built-in leeway there.
Yeah.
But when does that noise get loud?
No, we can ask Wright.
You want to ask him right now?
For anybody who's Wright's literally across from me. So,
Case, you want to go ahead and hit his microphone for us real quick there?
there we go.
DeBoer's got pressure. I agree. He just got a new deal though, so if he didn't get that new deal, I would have wondered.
I think that probably had something to do with it. Like, hey guys, if I don't get this new deal, I'm gone. You know, it's just. I mean, you're a
Georgia alum over here, right?
You're a Kirby guy through and through. Like,
He's got
does
some
he have pressure?
I think. I mean, I think if you look at the last 2 years in the playoffs, didn't win, but played two really good teams. I mean, Notre Dame went to the championship. Ole Miss made a run, but I think the championships are getting further and further in the rear view, and that's the expectation. But my only concern as a Georgia fan is, like, I really hope the game in the way it is today doesn't burn him out. I don't see him, like, jumping to the NFL, but I hope some of the things Saban has said that he has signed on to, I hope that doesn't wear on him.
Yeah.
I think Kirby will not go down this path because I think this person that I'm going to relate him to is a little more of a pain, especially to the media, and we're all kind of exhausted. But it didn't take long for Dabo to lose a lot of credit.
Correct.
Now, Dabo's different because I don't want to do the transfer portal, and NIL is killing everything, and he's not evolved, and that's been his problem.
But he's got
two of them. But Kirby don't mind paying players because Kirby's a bag man. So it's like him evolving wasn't a big deal. So I don't think so. But again, I still want to use Clemson as an example. Like, it's been a few years since they've made a playoff, made a run, won a title. And I'm just curious in the SEC specifically how quick they might turn on Kirby.
Yeah, the difference is they're still recruiting at a really high level. And Clemson, I think, fell off in his insistence on not doing the portal. I think the last couple years especially, Georgia has really gotten into the portal for positions of need, which was a good adaptation. I will tell you the big thing is where there maybe does need to be some adapting is they're not big on paying high school seniors a lot of money, and a lot of these 5-stars want a lot of money, and they've decided that creates a weird dynamic when you have recruits come in at $2, $3, $4 million, and then maybe they're not as good because the competition's different, and there's a starter making a fifth of that. It creates a dynamic. So that's
unless
why
you're Malachi Tony and you're going to go out there for Miami and be one of them ones,
exactly.
But how often do I get that?
I also think too, it's like, do you really want to pay a guy $3 million as a freshman to come in and you just develop him for him to go somewhere else?
Yeah. So that's the only thing, though. We've lost out on some high. They're still recruiting really high, and they're I think top 5 still, top 3 maybe. But that's an area where I think a lot of fans are frustrated to see these high recruits going other places, and I think it really, for the most part, comes down to money. And I don't, first off, blame the kids at all. I'm not saying they, but I think
we're pro bag on this show.
Yeah. So I mean, if you're not going to pay those kids, there's a negative to that when they're going somewhere else, and that eats into some of your depth. But
and then you put all your eggs in like a Cade Klubnik basket. Which now, going into last season, Danny, you and I were really high on Clemson. I had him winning the whole thing because I was really high on Cade Klubnik. Been there for a while, built up, knows the system.
So easy.
And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, man, this guy can't really play. So it's like that pressure that they put on themselves by not going to get a Will Levis or, does C.J. Carr stay at Notre Dame, I would assume. But you know what I mean. Dante Moore could have left Oregon if he wanted to.
That was probably the most disappointing season ever for Clemson. I mean, the conference is not super strong. The way they've fallen off, I mean, from those Dabo years where they were winning, competitive, winning close games, competitive, not quitting. I mean, the culture seems to have totally shifted. And I don't know what it is there.
I think it's just the changes in college football, and I think Dabo is a part of that. And that's the thing is,
evolve or die.
Yeah, and I think that's what you're seeing and coaches are getting out, and younger coaches are coming in.
That's why Kenny Dillingham, Dan Lanning, Ryan Day's younger. Like, that's why they work.
Will Stein,
he's going to bet on himself
at Kentucky, where he might win 3 games.
Good luck, buddy. All right, let's get into it. Right, Gazaway is our guest. We're going to discuss some Moda Center stuff. I'm hoping having you here, my friend, will allow us to not have my blood boil, which it's been boiling for the last few days. We'll take a quick break. Hour number 2 is coming up next. Right, Gazaway in the house. We'll talk Moda Center and everything you need to know right here on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM, 1080 AM.
Hey, it's Duke for A&E.
Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, your Portland Timbers have hired new head coach Martí Cifuentes ahead of tomorrow's matchup against FC Dallas inside Providence Park. The Spaniard brings more than 2 decades of coaching experience, most recently coaching Leicester City. Kickoff set for 7:30 tomorrow, but make sure to tune in right here on 105.1 FM and 1080 AM when pregame coverage kicks off at 6:30. Some NFL news for you as the Miami Dolphins and linebacker Jordan Brooks have agreed on a 3-year, $51.3 million extension. That includes $35 million in guarantees as Brooks, the 2-time league leader in tackles, is slowly becoming the anchor of the Miami defense. Brooks now joins running back Devon Achane and center Aaron Brewer, who also signed long-term extensions to stay in Miami this offseason. Over to the MLB as Nolan Arenado became one of 6 MLB players in history to record 2,000 hits, 350 homers, and 10 gold gloves. Arenado achieved his 2,000th career hit on Monday on a double down the line, joining Ken Griffey Jr., Willie Mays, Mike Schmidt, Johnny Bench, and Al Kaline as he becomes one of 6 active players to have at least 2,000 hits. And finally, your Portland Fire are back in action tomorrow night as they host the Dallas Wings inside the Moda Center at 7 p.m. Make sure to catch all of tomorrow's Fire coverage over on 9:10 a.m. when pregame starts at 6:45. And for more sports scores and stories in 30 minutes, I'm Casey Smith from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt, missing work? Insurance companies acting like jerks? Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
Your home for Seahawks.
Hour number deuce here. If you're missing the first hour, you can download that, the Fan Podcast, 1051thefan.com, the Odyssey app, wherever you get your podcasts. If you missed Dirt and Sprague this morning, you can go back and check that out. They had a really, really nice conversation about Greg Sankey and the SEC. I quite enjoyed that as a P1 of that show. So go back and listen to that, the Odyssey app, or the YouTube's rewind, fast forward, except for in the future. For that would be impossible. Let's get right to it. Wright Gazaway is our guest here from K2. Happy to spend time with us. We're very, very happy to have you. Let's have some cordials here. Hello. How are you?
I'm good. Way overdressed.
How was your day?
Yeah, way overdressed.
Don't worry about that.
You'd not
Should I
get
unbutton it?
Yeah, no, show a little chest meat. You're good.
I'm one of the few people that wears a collared shirt here almost every day.
The rest of us do not.
No. The rest of you are sleazebags.
The shirt has a collar, but it not necessarily necessary.
Now, do you pop it? If you pop it, does that give you style? Does that give you style? Well, we're happy to have you, man. You've been doing a ton of work on this. Let me ask you something before we get into a lot of this. Just as a professional, like as a journalist in your world, talk to me about how...
That's you.
That is me. That is so weird. Talk to me about how this has affected you in your news career. Like, you have been diving into stuff. Have you done anything like this before? Have you invested as much time and effort into something? What have you learned from a professional standpoint?
Yeah, I would say if you ask my wife, I dive way too into everything I do. And I've had her ask me more than once to put my phone down over the last couple of weeks. I firmly believe this is the most important story that will happen in this city for a long time. And I think it's, in my job, it's imperative that we inform people. And I just am obsessed with learning about this kind of stuff. So I recognize the moment, and I recognize how important it is that there's just objective information out there so people can make their decisions. So I think it's a huge story, and that certainly provides encouragement to keep following it, because I think it's a big deal.
Let's get right into it. I think we were talking in the break before we got into this that there's so much dynamics to this.
Yeah.
There's so much Portland City. Everyone's now an expert on Portland City Council.
Yeah.
Everyone's already now an expert on lease deals and relocation fees for the NBA. And I don't think that's quite the case. Danny and I do this every single day. You do it as well. There's a lot that I don't know. Talk to us about the dynamics between the Dundon management. We lovingly call him Dad on this show.
Yeah.
Talk to me about Dad and his team and the city and how all those inner workings exist.
So I think
coexist.
Transparently, I'm still trying to nail down exactly who is negotiating. I think from the team's perspective, it's safe to assume it's Tom Dundon, but I think the ownership group is involved in that. Danny, and you talk to people with the Blazers. What's unique about Portland is we are in the second year of a brand new form of government. So the city and the team negotiated this bridge agreement back in 2024 when there were 4 city commissioners and 1 mayor. So you're dealing with 5 people. The mayor had a little bit more authority as the chief executive to make deals and to dictate policy decisions. Now we have 12 city councilors and a mayor. The mayor doesn't have as much power, so there's a dynamic there. I think I was talking to a source with the team this week. Transparently, I think they're still trying to figure out, hey, we've done this with the previous iteration of city government. It's different now when you have 12 people. You've got 12 people and a mayor, so potentially 13 different opinions. I would say the game for the team, the game for the mayor, and the game for listeners and just people following this is you got to look at where the consensus is on any issue, this being the Blazers, but whether it's the budget or anything. 5 people is a losing vote. So 1 person saying something, 2 people saying something, 5 people in agreement, that is not going to pass city council. And I think it's easy to get caught up in these one-off comments you hear, but I think as you're watching this, you have to really start looking at where does the majority come down. And the fact of the matter is the mayor needs 6 votes. He would be the 7th. So that's the calculus he's playing too. I think to the degree he thinks he has the votes, that's going to inform how he negotiates with the rest of council as kind of this liaison. But I think all 12 councilors feel like they have a right to be involved in this. So that's the dynamic, I think.
How much of that has caused the calculus to change from March till now? Because not even factoring the last 7 to 10 days. Because I don't know what you've heard, but based on what I've heard, the Blazers did believe back in, when ownership changed hands, that this was not necessarily going to be rubber stamped, but they were on the path. And something has changed between March and now. And we're getting some city council members, we're getting some commissioners who are saying some pretty out-of-pocket things and kind of saber-rattling to a point of, the article of the Oregonian, the hammer line at the end of this is from the Blazers. The official added, the deal doesn't get better, it gets worse with time.
Yeah. I think it's certainly factored in. I would say generally all 12 of them want a deal. Mm-hmm. Their definition of deal just varies to the extent where maybe a deal's not possible.
Let me have you repeat that. You think all 12 of them are pro on this, it's just how the deal is going down.
It's just the terms and strings attached to the money, the involvement from the Blazers, but I don't think anybody is totally opposed to giving no money. I can tell you the people that have, you would say, I've asked all of them, so you're a no on this, right? It sure seems like you're a no. All of them hedge that. Well, I don't know. I need to see more. So I think even the fact that the deal on paper is a net negative, where you have the city investing potentially $120 million and only getting back, say, whatever they agree to rent. I'm just using that as a net negative, setting aside the economic impact more broadly. But just the direct revenue back, that's not even a deal breaker. For some of the people you would assume is a no. The comment to me was, we fund net negative projects all the time. As government, we do that. Economic development deals almost always on paper are net negative. So that's
like the Postal Service doesn't lose money; it costs money.
Yeah. So I think to your point earlier, I've confirmed with the mayor's office, with the team. I believe there was an agreement on the funding. Mm-hmm. I don't think the mayor and Tom Dundon and the ownership group sat down and hammered out all the terms. I think in my reporting, what I've learned is the mayor, the county chair, and the governor agreed to the package that we see. And just for listeners, because I've been getting this comment on social media, it's not $600 million, it's $573. That was what they agreed to. We've been saying nearly $600. I just want people to know that was not a surprise to the team. The amount of money, that was what they agreed to. Mm-hmm. So that's not a sticking point. I think what they need to iron out is just the terms. I think you guys have reported. Mm-hmm. I don't think he's going to roll over on the pilot rent, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, because for those that don't understand this, that $4 million with the escalators and stuff like that, it is basically a property tax,
correct,
and a rent fee where the legality of that is kind of in question because you can't actually, we don't have that on the books because because it's public land. They're saying they're going to charge, in essence, a property tax for property they don't own.
It's really rent. I think they think the reason I think the property tax, and if you look across the NBA, I think some teams just pay straight rent. You think like the Thunder, the Spurs, the Magic, those teams. Some of them call it a pilot, a payment in lieu of taxes. The thought is when Paul Allen owned the building, his last year property taxes was $1.2 million. There's some room to negotiate, but I think they're trying to project, okay, we took the building for $1. What's going to be the future value of this building? Say it's $600 million or whatever, after renovations. What would the estimated property tax be since it's now no longer, a privately owned building? That's what they're trying to figure out. And I think you can call it rent. You can call it a payment in lieu of taxes. I think some of that's semantics. It's whatever is more palatable. But that's what they're trying to figure out, taking into account that Paul Allen paid that for, the first or the Allen estate in the later half. But they paid that the first 29 years Moda Center was open.
But the sticking point of that is they own the building then, and that's where it gets a little wonky because the fine print of the Blazers selling the building for air quotes $1. The reason behind that wasn't the arena stuff per se. It has more to do with the fact that if it's public land, they now have access to a pool of funds that they did not have access to before that because it was privately held land, whereas now it is publicly held land.
Correct, and they negotiated that back in 1995. When Paul Allen built Moda Center, they signed a 30-year ground lease and basically said, hey, at the end of this, I'm giving you the building and we'll figure out what to do next. Obviously, the ownership changed hands, so that complicated things, but it was always going to revert to the city, and to your point, then that allows the city to invest. The team's position clearly is, we paid for the original Moda Center, we paid to maintain it for 30 years, we've essentially invested our part. Not to mention, there's a 6% ticket fee we all pay. There's parking and revenue that's generated from a couple of the city-owned garages. That money for a long time went to the city and then did subsidized work at Providence Park as well as the VMC. So the team's basically saying, we've subsidized the other city properties for 30 years. It's our turn to get some money back.
And it's a lot of money.
And that's why, if you've seen this talk about the $275 million committed by the city over 20 years, that money is 100% covered by the ticket fee and by the parking revenue. What the team is saying, and the city has essentially agreed to, is that money no longer goes to Providence. It no longer goes to VMC. It's going back to Moda Center. So that the $275 is fully covered. That's accounted for. Now we're just really talking about this $120 million.
He's right. Gazaway from K2 joins us to talk a little more about this Moda Center. We'll take a quick break. We come back. I want to start to kind of pivot this more to the Tom Dundon side of it. I think we kind of talked a lot about where the city is, your interactions with them, and how they come across. More here on the Blazers and the Moda Center deal right here on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM, The Fan.
do the best I can and let the chips fall where they may.
The Firm of Harris and Marang on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
Sitting here with Wright Gazaway from K2 News. Thank you for your time, buddy. If you missed any of that first segment, you can always go back and listen to it, and we'll post the podcast when we're done with the hour. Pleasure to have you here, opening up some stuff. You said something to me in the break that I found fascinating, because you'd done some work with Jason Sukanik on Primetime. I think he was just on a show doing solo. I think Ropp was out, and you did some stuff with Dirt and Sprague, and I was kind of like, oh, man, we're double dipping. You were like, this thing has gotten way more complex since then.
Yeah, I think you obviously have the NBA commissioner that came out and made his statement. Then you had the city send this draft term sheet, and now we've got the reporting on the team. And while I haven't confirmed all the details that we've seen in the Athletic and in the Oregonian, I have enough with the team that it was a bit of they definitely feel like the public investment would come with no necessarily rent or payment back, and they are still really hung up on this concern that the city could ultimately sue the ownership group over this current bridge agreement and some of the requirements in that. So that's I think what's happening. And now, of course, the big thing is will the team respond to the city? So
I want to ask you.
They have not, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know. I wanted to ask you about Tom Dundon and the Blazers in this whole situation. Danny and I have talked a little bit that from our perspective, and I'm curious what you've gathered through your research and the people you've talked to. We feel sometimes that the city doesn't have a ton of leverage. That it feels like all the chips are in Tom's corner. Mm-hmm. Do you think that, or who you've talked to, do you think that is the case? Do you think he can kind of just put his feet flat on the ground and say, these are my terms and wait them out? Or is he going to have to come to some sort of middle agreement?
Well, I certainly can't predict what he will do. I think there's evidence from other places he's operated that he ultimately does come to terms with certain things that maybe right now he says are a non-starter. I think the complicating factor right now is that you have the city negotiating with essentially two entities. Mm-hmm. When he bought the team, he bought the Trailblazers, and he also bought Rip City Management. Rip City Management is the operator of the arena, so the Trailblazers, are a subtenant of Rip City Management. The Fire are a subtenant of Rip City Management, and then any concert or event that comes in that venue signs an agreement with Rip City Management. So you have the city essentially negotiating with the team to keep them here. They're also negotiating with Rip City Management on a new operator's agreement. So all that's happening at once. And I think a lot of it gets conflated, but some of the terms that they're asking for are coming at it from the Rip City Management perspective of like, hey, we're going to renovate this arena. The revenue will flow through Rip City Management. The city certainly gets some of the ticket taxes and the parking revenue, but the direct revenue goes through Rip City Management. So I think they're trying to figure out how can we agree on, obviously not a revenue share. I mean, there was some talk in the city about we want naming rights revenue, which we've seen some teams give up, but that's not common.
Especially in this economy.
And that's not in the term sheet. There was no ask for naming rights revenue. There's some cities that have agreed with teams to share the revenue created from non-NBA events. That's also not in this term sheet.
And real quick, who makes that money from non-NBA?
Rip City Management makes that money.
Just wanted to make that clear.
Yeah, and their books are not public. So, there's no idea there's really no telling what kind of money we can assume it's not zero. They wouldn't do that for free. And there are companies, the group that took over Seattle Stadium, there's a handful of companies that operate arenas. ASM Global's the biggest, that operate these arenas essentially as music venues, as event venues. So there's definitely money to be had in that. What I will say is interesting. I don't want to get too in the weeds here, but in that term sheet, which I think will also be a sticking point with the team, there's essentially a request that the city would have rights to Rip City's books. Not the Blazers, so not the basketball side, but they would have at least an eye in what's the operating income of this entity, which they kind of know now because the team pays, the Rip City Management pays business taxes. So there's tax filing, so it's not totally private.
Do some math.
Yeah, so that I think is a factor here as well. And that's, when he bought the team, that was valued in. Operators' rights there's a value to that. And the team did that.
There's operators' rights, and there's also another sticking point here. It's the land use rights that go around that too,
Correct.
Which is another layer that hasn't really gotten into too much.
Yeah, although I think there's some reporting, and I've talked to people in City Hall that transparently he has the development rights now, and he's not really shown an interest in keeping them.
No, it sounds like Albina might end up
correct
moving in that path, which
Phil Knight gave them a ton of money.
So that's totally fine.
They have plenty of money. So I think when they and the teams basically said, we've had discussions with these community organizations about redeveloping the area around the arena. So, I'll take him at his word. I think the team, when I talked to someone yesterday, like they're explicit that their intention is not to move the team. So I think we should operate from that framework right now.
Does the city believe that, real quick? I just want to follow up on that. Does the city believe that they don't want to move the team?
I think the mayor publicly has said, and he said to me that he feels like Tom wants to make a deal.
Okay.
That's how he feels. I think there's some in the city who don't necessarily feel that way,
Yes.
that his intention is to move the team and have the city bungle this so he can say, look.
And some have said it on record.
Yeah, exactly.
The Clay Bennett route in Seattle, basically.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like, I think if the city doesn't ever come to terms with any money, then he doesn't really – that's an easy out for him because he never even had to make a decision. The decision was made for him.
What is the ultimate outcome here that obviously getting a deal done August 12th? That's the hope, right? What needs to happen over the next 3 weeks?
Of course, that date could change. I think the intent from the city is not to move that date.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to give people a heads up so they're not surprised. There will be efforts in that meeting to amend this term sheet in a ton of ways. And I go back to what I said earlier. You just have to look at where the votes come down. So you don't. But there will definitely be efforts to amend it. Whether they want to increase the proposed pilot payment, whether they want to increase anything in there, there will be efforts. I just think it comes down to whether they can find 7. Well, they need 7 votes because you can assume, like with the budget, the mayor's not going to cast the tie-breaking vote to amend a document that he helped draft. So really, now the calculus for changes is you need 7. And I asked the mayor directly, if this comes down to 6-6, will you? Because he's never used his tiebreaker vote, and he didn't even let me finish the question. He said, "Yes, I will be the 7th vote."
On that same note, the amendment line. Obviously, we talked about the pilot payment. That's I would imagine is probably sticking point number 1. The other one, and we talked about it the second we got that press release as far as a term sheet, was the labor clause. Like that is something that is very Portland. I
Correct.
think.
Which is the city's point is he should read the room and where he bought the team.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll let you finish your question.
No. I 100% get what you're saying. But that is not a standard clause. And if you're going to give somebody money, but then also tell them who he can go hire, I think those are, for me and from my understanding and talking with folks, those are going to be the 2 biggest touch points that they're going to just hammer down in on. What is there a compromise there, or is there just an absolute no?
I think I agree with you. Those will be the 2 points. On the $3 million is the original payment up and escalating 5%. There's 2 things to negotiate. 1 is the original payment, and 2 is the percentage. I mean, Oregon law caps property tax increases at 3%. So I think I'd be shocked if he settles for 5 when no one
law
else
literally states 3.
But I think to the city's point, they're saying, okay, I think they're giving themselves room to negotiate. Mm-hmm. On the labor thing, we just have to go back to the legislature. There was some talk about including some of that labor language in Senate Bill 1501, and I think the team pushed back on it then. So I think it's clear that if it was an issue then, it will be an issue now. Because to your point, yes, the city's giving the money, and they're an investor. If you want to look at, no investor is going to give money without some strings attached. But to the team's point, that affects the pricing, which then affects overruns and possibly their responsibility. And I asked the team yesterday. I asked the source, are you even confident this can get done for $600 million? And they said they still are confident. Obviously, every day that goes by, that can affect things. But they feel like they can do a renovation that satisfies their interest at the current amount. It's not like they would come back, get an architect, and, oh, my gosh, it's $800 million.
Yeah.
So
Vulcan still owns 20% of this team. Have you heard anything from them?
We've not.
I mean, they're notoriously quiet.
I mean,
so I don't expect you. If you said yes, that was going to be the breaking news of the show.
Yeah, we heard from Tom Dundon on April 2nd, and I think that was, one more time than we ever heard from Jody Allen?
Yeah, so I was just curious, where that all comes into play. I was joking yesterday, I think the city got a little swindled by buying the stadium for 1 year for $1 in the sense of, hey, right, I'm going to give you this car that you want so bad, but it needs a new transmission, a new clutch, and new tires. But the cool radio that once took us to a Western Conference final still works in the car.
Yeah, I think that what the team was thinking in 1995, because I've talked to the city commissioners who made that decision, they didn't really feel like there was much of an option. I mean, I think Paul Allen's intent was, we'll give you this building, and we're going to build a new arena, and you can decide what to do with that. Now, given today's economy, I mean, Tom Dunn has said the natural thing would be to ask for a new arena.
And the
so
fact
I think
that Paul's
Allen's
not here anymore.
Correct. I think his intent was, hey, I'm going to give you. I mean, it's obviously in need of repairs, but it's not a dump.
No.
I mean, the city could easily, have done something. And you see that in Oklahoma City. They're building a new arena. They're going
right next door.
And they're going to keep that one, and like they're giving the Thunder the rights to purchase it first. But like that, I think was the intent of 1995. I don't think the city council that took the building on for $1 felt like there was much room, because it was dictated in that 1995 lease that, hey, this is going to revert to you. You can't do it for nothing, so that's why it's $1. And then we'll figure out what to do from here. And they just did it a year early because the NBA wanted the Allen estate to sell. So
the other part of this is the quasi-local tie, Shield Tile. And his group.
Quasi is a good word.
Yeah,
Mom.
Yeah.
We call Shield mom. Tom is dad, Shield is mom.
Shield was very public in that first month or so, and much like everyone else, has gone very quiet.
Here's the question I have for you, Danny.
Mm-hmm.
He said that in the original news conference that, look, I wouldn't be a part of this deal if we were moving.
Mm-hmm.
And then he came out, I think, in the New York Times and doubled down on that.
Mm-hmm. I remember that article.
And there was nothing. And I'm wondering, did someone say something to him? Because I think it's been talked about on this show, like, the team's main leverage is the option to leave.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was why Jody Allen wanted the short lease. It gives the buyer the leverage of leaving. So I think it shouldn't surprise people that it's on the table. That's his biggest play. Why would he not? And I will say, to the team's credit, they told me yesterday, like, we are being careful that we are not explicitly saying we're going to relocate the team.
They don't want to push that button.
Correct, but I think it's a big leverage play from the team, so it shouldn't surprise people.
It's starting to creep up in some of their communications. Like,
Yeah.
that's the thing. It's like, don't make us push the button, because it's one of those things, like, you can't unpush it.
I have the nuclear code.
Yes, it's exactly what it is. Like, you can't, like, if
Can't
you
come back from it.
No, once you push it, it's there's no self-destruct sequence. Like, it's like, oh, we're going down this path, and then you get scared.
Right? You got time for one more?
Yeah.
Can I keep you one more?
Yeah,
All right, all right. Let's write Gaz away from K2. I want to ask the economic impact and kind of the average Portland citizen's view on this as well. A lot to still unpack. We'll toss it to Casey over there with sports.
Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
This sports update is brought to you by Mountaintop Metal Roofing. No maintenance, energy efficient, fire resistant, and a lifetime warranty. Do it once, do it right. Visit mountaintopmetalroofing.com. First on the Fan, your Portland Timbers have hired new head coach Marty Cifuentes ahead of tomorrow's matchup against FC Dallas inside Providence Park. The Spaniard brings more than 2 decades of coaching experience, most recently coaching Leicester City. Kickoff is set for 7:30 tomorrow, but make sure to tune in right here on 105.1 FM and 1080 AM when pregame coverage kicks off at 6:30. Some NFL news for you, as the Miami Dolphins and linebacker Jordan Brooks have agreed to a 3-year, $51.3 million extension. That includes $35 million in guarantees, as Brooks, the 2-time league leader in tackles, now joins running back Devon Achane and center Aaron Brewer, who also signed long-term extensions to stay in Miami this offseason. Over to the MLB, as Nolan Arenado became one of 6 MLB players in history to record 2,000 hits, 350 homers, and 10 gold gloves. Arenado achieved his 2,000th career hit Monday night on a double down the left field line, joining some elite company, as Arenado also becomes one of 6 active players to have at least 2,000 hits. And finally, your Portland Fire are back in action tomorrow night as they host the Dallas Wings inside the Moda Center at 7 p.m. Make sure to catch all of tomorrow's Fire coverage over on 9:10 a.m. when pregame starts at 6:45. And for more sports scores and stories in 30 minutes, I'm lowercase from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt, missing work? Insurance companies acting like jerks? Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at WarrenAllen.com.
The home of primetime.
I don't have fun. I believe it.
Man down. 11:30. Hip in distress.
I have Zlatan. What do you mean?
The Firm of Harris and Marang on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
Finishing up here with Wright Gazaway of K2, who's done a ton of research on this, and you, my man, are my new official expert on this whole situation. Thank you for all the work you've put into it. I think you mentioned this. I don't know if you mentioned it on the air or mentioned in the break. These are kind of the conversations we need to have more of. Because Danny and I, like, what we do on a daily basis, there's room for us to yell at each other and disagree and be king of the mountain sort of thing. But in this situation, you kind of mentioned this is one of the bigger stories in a long time, if not ever, in Portland, that these are the discussions that need to have. Because right now it feels a lot of, no, I hate you and I hate you and screw billionaires, but you own the building, and a lot of misinformation being thrown around.
Yeah, I think you need these long-form discussions, and I think I won't ever say that social media is indicative of the entire world. I did think it was interesting, though, that like a lot of people who've been interacting with us in the last 6 weeks universally were like, the city's going to mess this up. The city doesn't want to keep the Blazers here. And then when that draft term sheet came out, without exception, people were like, this is actually pretty reasonable. Like, this is not terrible. I mean, it's certainly like, it's a start.
I thought it was.
People were surprised that like, oh, maybe. So their tone kind of shifted with that. So I think.
And that's kind of what I want to ask you. I'm curious what you've caught on the public perception, the average Portlander, because something I share on this show a lot that I'm a firm believer on, and I don't think I get a lot of pushback on it, is that we as sports fans, we are a piece of the pie. We think we're probably a bigger piece of the pie than we actually are in terms of the whole Portland market. And we're not over 50%, but we're a large chunk of it. There's a lot of people in this town that don't care about sports, that sports doesn't mean more to them. It's about urban hiking or going to the Gorge or buying local or Pride Night, things like that. Do you think everyone kind of understands the economical impact that sports brings to you, whether it's the Blazers or the Timbers or the Fire, the Hillsborough Hops, Oregon Ducks, Portland Soccer, whatever it might be? Do you think the average person understands what sports brings to the city?
I think the economics of it are so difficult, and I think there's certainly a component to this that is non-economic, that just there's a cultural impact of having a professional sports team in your city that is not going to come down to dollars and cents. And I think the policy decision that every city council will have to make is wherever they settle on the pilot fee, and I keep saying that because like that's the revenue that they get back. And I would just say the biggest misconception is you got to remember the state is pitching in 365, the county's on the hook for 88, the city is on the hook for 120 million, not 600 million. So I see a lot of that like, where's the city going to get 600 million? They don't need to get 600 million. So the policy decision is, okay, let's subtract whatever the Blazers agree to pay us in rent. That's what they have to look at and say, are the Blazers worth that amount over 20 years?
How is
the answer not yes?
Yeah, this is what you're paying to have a top 4 sports franchise in your city.
And I think the point is, look, that's the cost of having a professional sports team, and each city councilor and each county commissioner will have to decide as a policy matter whether they support that. That's the decision in front of them, and I think that's what they'll have to do with. But yeah, the from an economic perspective, I think it's hard. I think if you don't go to Blazers games and you don't go to Motor Center for concerts, it's very easy not to care about. My response to that when I talk to those people is that can be a slippery slope because our tax dollars pay for a lot of things we don't utilize. And if people started picking and choosing, well, I don't use that and I don't use public parks, so why are we funding public parks?
I don't have kids. Why do I care about schools?
Correct.
Right,
so
right.
I think that's not necessarily like a good faith argument against something because you can flip that really quickly on like any other issue.
And the other side of that is on the economic stand front is like, Oregon as a state likes to, be kind of anti-capitalist and anti-billionaire. And it's like those jock taxes and all those things. Like if that team leaves, you don't get that jock
Which
tax.
that's the state's argument is like this is a no-brainer for the state because they're like if the team leaves, we lose that tax money anyways. And I know some people may not fully agree with that concept, but that's the state's argument. The other thing I would say is that as a matter of fact, you cannot like that government subsidize public stadium or sports stadiums. The fact of the matter is, it happens all over the country
at significantly larger values,
and that's the environment you're operating in. So I think that's the other difficult thing is like we just saw this play out in New York with the Buffalo Bills. They're in that stadium for I think $800 million.
Jerry's asking for money for AT&T.
So I think that's the environment that we're in, and whether they're a good investment or not, the reality is cities do it, and I think that's the environment you're operating in.
And if it's not you, it will be somebody else.
Yeah,
I think that's a great point when you start like how dangerous it is to start breaking down. Well, I don't do that, so don't let me spend my money. One of the things that we kind of mentioned at the beginning of this segment, so much disinformation out there. How do these two entities come together and get the right information out of there? Because every day, we see on our text line or on our YouTube chat, somebody says something where I'm just kind of like, that's not true. And it's just so much disinformation. Some of it's posturing from each side. How do we get the right news out there?
I'll say something that did confuse me with the team. So I think the team says the city's talking out both sides of their mouth. The city says the team is. Well, if you look at the city, you've got 12 councilors and a mayor, so 13 people. It's to be expected there's going to be a range of opinions. Someone from the team basically said about the term sheet when I was talking is like, well, ideally we would have negotiated the term sheet together, but then at the same time the team said we're not going to negotiate until we get a term sheet. So you can't really negotiate a term sheet if your sticking point is like we're not going to start until we get the term sheet. And that's why I think the team, we've seen the reporting of their response to it. I don't want to predict what he'll do, but I think they'll respond in some way, whether it's back channels or like, I think the mayor's hope explicitly was like the Blazers made clear they were not going to engage with us without something in writing. And they felt like, bam, okay,
we'll give you something in writing.
Correct. And they felt like, okay, maybe this will bring them back to the table. There's a component to this that like, certainly the NBA can't tell Tom Dundon what to do, but they do think if they can put something that's quote unquote reasonable, it does maybe help them when you look at the other owners and the other, in the league. So I think if they don't ever get the funding, it's easy for the NBA to say, well, you made this pretty easy for us.
I'm going to ask you a semi-sensitive question. How does Shield Tile's wife play into any of this, if any?
Well,
do you understand the optics of it? It might not be related, but she is no longer employed in that spot anymore. which seem to have a little bit of close ties to where the Moda Center might be. And
she may have been in charge of the entity that operates the property next to Moda.
Yeah, I just want to ask because of the optics of it, and I understand, but is there anything you know around that situation?
No, I mean, I think it's safe to say you look at her resume, she's got an impressive background. She'll find another job
Without
not
a doubt.
in Oregon. So there kind of goes the Oregon connection. Now, Sheil Tyo, by his telling, loves Portland. I've never spoken to him, so he obviously has a stake in a sports team in Portland. I don't want to say he'll cut ties, but you mentioned the quasi-local connection. I mean, it's gone to a degree. She no longer works for the state, so I haven't seen where she's going to land, but
it's strange, huh?
Yeah. I mean, again, it's another kind of a spark point in that. When you look at this, the economic side of things, and we're getting this from the Blazers in the sense of not just the longer this goes, the worse the deal gets, that quote. I mean, that's a bit of a hammer. But it's also, this is going to get political, screw it. There's the idea of where Portland is as an economy. And when you look at that, how much more leverage is there for Tom Dunn and the Blazers when they look around and they see that 8,500 jobs were lost? Is one of the largest in the Metroplex last year, is across the country. That commercial real estate's at 37% vacancy rate. There were dead last in sponsorships. All of these things that kind of play into this. Does that add more leverage to them? And because there's that line of we keep hearing market rate.
Well, and that's the $1 million question,
yes.
by the way. What is market rate? Is it market for Portland? Is it market for the NBA?
Is it for seafood at that restaurant I love to go to? Catch of the day.
Exactly. What does that do though to the negotiations? Because it feels like that bullseye is just kind of rotating around of what market rate it
I mean, the
is.
Chamber's been beating this drum for a while. I think in the Urban Land Institute looks at the attractiveness of development. Portland was 80 out of 81. So by any metric you look at, it's not great. And Tom Dunn even had a quote when the people were asking him, are you going to invest around Moda like you did around Raleigh? He said something to the effect of, North Carolina is growing. There's a different calculus there, which I think, there's a reason he hasn't come out and committed publicly to investing in that area. I think the team told me, and they said this in a statement on the record, we need a deal that that allows Rip City and the Blazers to be a sustainable business. And I think that's a hint. And they said, once again, in direct quotes, we're trying to make this deal at a time when a lot of businesses are pulling out.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're using that. Yeah, certainly they feel look, the economics of it are different here in a city where maybe it's more difficult to do business than another state.
Than, say, Raleigh or Nashville or Kansas City.
And I also think part of your political situation that we've kind of screamed about is Portland City Council hasn't been great with money over the last few years. And I won't make you have an opinion on that, but it has been documented, missing funds and misappropriated and maybe a little bit of, not laundering, but a little bit of moving stuff around in special interests.
The E-word?
Yeah, the optics of it don't look good. And that's why I think for us sometimes it's so strange to listen to the city council and people like Mitch Green talking about, well, the city demands transparency. And some of that's been bro, I need you to give transparency before you start showing other people transparency.
There was a really well-documented story with the Housing Bureau essentially, having some money that wasn't transparently shared and it was lost. I think the difficult thing for people is you see, your police budgets are getting cut, school budgets are getting cut, and they're where are we coming up with this money? And I think I understand it because all these money sources are different. I mean, if you look at the 120, a good chunk of that, 40 to 50 million of it, is coming directly from the business taxes generated by the sale. Mm-hmm. So, but for the sale, the city would not have gotten that money.
And can Tom Dundon argue hey, I'm already giving you 40, 50?
He has.
Yeah, based on taxes.
And I think, although that comes from Jody Allen, but that's certainly factored into the price. But, so that's the mayor's point is we're just essentially reinvesting this, and that's the county's position too, because about half of their investment is the business taxes. So, and then you look at Prosper Portland, which is the city's economic development arm, wants to put in 5 to 10 or a range. So the mayor feels the hole we need to fill is not very big, and he clearly feels the money's there. So it's not as big of a debate for him.
He's right, Gazaway. I know you are in the business of information and not opinions.
Yeah.
But I'll ask, if you put everything on a scale of the yeses and the nos, does this thing get done?
It seems I think the mayor is confident he's got the votes. I think the city council president is confident they have the votes. We'll learn a lot on August 12th. And I think that's a little bit of like, if this was playing out a little bit more in public and you could watch these discussions at a public meeting, the public would be able to see where the votes are. You know, you'd be able to see or estimate to a degree like where people come down.
Where the sticking points are and who's the sticking point.
Exactly. And like maybe, so look, as long as the team is telling us they're confident, though, you know, eventually something will get done, and the city's administration is confident the deal will get done, I'll maintain that. I will say, I mean, there's certainly concern when you poke around. There's definitely some people in the city that feel like his ultimate intent is to move the team. They've said that it's not. So I think that's definitely a fear in City Hall, that his main intention is to move the team.
That's right, Gazaway. You can catch him on K2. Thanks for all the hard work, buddy. August 12th, we might have to circle back around on you because anytime this thing gets built up, our listeners just clamoring for more and more and more. Great stuff, amigo. Thanks for coming by.
Always appreciate it. He's
right, Gazaway from K2. We'll take a quick break. We come back. We'll recap this a little bit and get into the big nooner as well. Portland Sports Leader 105.1 The Fan. All right, this is Web Gems, everybody's favorite. Do it every single day at 11:45. We're a little up against it, so we're just going to do a quick little turnaround here. We want a big thanks to Ry Gazaway, who joined us in studio. A lot of really great stuff. Casey will have him effort to flip that and throw it on the podcast if you missed any of that as soon as we can. You can also go back on the Odyssey app or on the YouTubes. A lot of fun stuff about that. We're going to pause Web Gems, move the cool story I had till tomorrow about that situation. But we come back in the big nooner. We will kind of Danny and I will react to this, and kind of there was a lot of really great information in there. And I'll tell you what, I don't know what you guys think out there. I feel a lot more informed. I feel a lot better about this situation, and I would like to know what you feel as well. 503-864-6326 or over on the YouTubes. And we're still doing free consultation at 12:15. Get those in. I got a couple of them. Anything you need advice on. It can be about this. And some of you guys send in texts and YouTube thoughts that I look at and turn them into consultations as well. So stick around for that or get yours in 503-864-6326. Blazer coverage on the Fan is presented by Xfinity. Score the most reliable Wi-Fi. One price, 5 years, guaranteed. Xfinity. Imagine that. The Big Nooner is next. 105.1 The Fan.
Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, your Portland Timbers have hired new head coach Marty Cifuentes ahead of tomorrow's matchup against FC Dallas inside Providence Park. The Spaniard brings more than 2 decades of coaching experience, most recently coaching Leicester City. Kickoff for tomorrow is set for 7:30 As make sure to tune in right here on 105.1 FM and 1080 AM when pregame coverage kicks off at 6:30. Some NFL news for you as the Miami Dolphins and linebacker Jordan Brooks have agreed to a 3-year, $51.3 million extension. That includes $35 million in guarantees as Brooks, the two-time league leader in tackles, now joins running back Devon Achane and center Aaron Brewer, who also signed long-term extensions to stay in Miami this offseason. Over to the MLB as Nolan Arenado became one of 6 MLB players in history to record 2,000 hits, 350 homers, and 10 gold gloves. Arenado achieved his 2,000th career hit Monday night on a double down the left field line, joining some elite company, as Arenado also becomes one of 6 active players to have at least 2,000 hits. And finally, your Portland Fire are back in action tomorrow night as they host the Dallas Wings inside the Moda Center tomorrow at 7 p.m. Make sure to catch all of tomorrow's Fire coverage over on 9:10 a.m. when pregame starts at 6:45. And for more sports scores and stories in 30 minutes, I'm Lowercase from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt, missing work? Insurance companies acting like jerks? Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
Sports Saturday with Joe.
We made it to the big nooner, the firm of Harris and Marang. We do this bad boy every single day from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Thank you for being a part of our day. We are stoked to be a part of your day. A big shout out and thank to Wright Gazaway for being a part of our day and your day. You know the drill after us. Luke Anderson will come in, give you a bonus hour and the normal hour of the Fan Happy Hour. That's 1 to 3 prime time. Isaac and Suk 3 to 7. And then Timbers Fan tonight from 7 to 8. Going to be kind of a weird one for you, but it'll be great. I will sit down with Ned Grabavoy. I'm actually doing that in about an hour, full transparency. I will sit down and talk to him about the new hire of the Portland Timbers. That'll be from 7 to 8, 14 hours of live, local, continuous, regional sports talk radio. Starts with the morning, guys. I'm a P1 of that show. So's Danny, so's Casey. Best morning show in town, Dirt and Spray. Basically, we'll do free consultation here in about 10, 15 minutes. But Danny, we just had Wright Gazaway in here, who's absolutely fantastic. It was great that he was able to come down here in person. Mm-hmm. I think it made that a lot more formal, a lot more intimate.
It becomes a roundtable discussion.
Yes.
Our very large roundtable.
Yes.
It's so funny. People are like, that's a really big table. I don't think because of the other cameras, I don't think they realize how big this table is. It's massive.
Yeah, you guys don't realize. Like, I have ample distance away from Danny Marang.
Like 10 feet between us.
It's okay. He closes that distance during the breaks.
Yeah, who was it that was in studio? I think it was with Isaac and Suk. They had their guest was in studio, and I think sometimes these moments are good for that, and that's the question we'll lead into is, where do you feel about this now? And I'll start real quick from that moment. Having somebody in here who is well-informed, whose job is not to take sides. Mm-hmm. I know I tried to pry one out of him, but I had to. But whose job is not to take sides, whose job is to collect information and present it in the most unbiased way. That made me feel a lot better about the situation.
No, it's like, Wright and I talk pretty regularly, and all of media in this city, we all talk pretty regularly. I say for the most part, we exchange information. Who
You're
are you
brethren.
Hearing? Yeah, I mean, like, well, what are you hearing on this side? Because Wright's got better connections and relationships with people in city council and city hall and the mayor and those kind of things, where people were asking me about what's going on with the Blazer side of things, because those are where my connections lie. And so we all try to talk and kind of marry things up and like, what's making sense here? What are you hearing there? What are you hearing there? And I think those things, that's where we kind of get together and go, okay, this is what I'm hearing. This is what you're hearing. Let's try to find like where this actually lines up. And there's what's being said publicly, and then there's what's being said privately. And those are always the things, is like, I told you so many times over the, this year plus now, if I could go back and undo anything, it's like not knowing how the sausage is made. Mm-hmm. Because there's, and I don't want it to seem like high and mighty, I know more. It's like, no, I'm in that. He's in that world. And so, we talk about things off air and off the record. It's like, oh, okay, it's this person thinks this or this person thinks that, or and not just in this conversation, but just in everything. Like the things that we talk about, particularly locally, there's a lot of things that we talk about that we can't say on air because of information that is given to us, and it helps. It's the same discussion that I talk about with coaches or with general managers or front office executives. I'm not trying to report on things. I'm trying to have information so I have a better understanding of how you're looking at things. And I think it's the same thing here when Wright has these relationships with these city council members, with the mayor, with other politicians. He can have a better understanding of what somebody is trying to accomplish, and whether that's somebody who's against it or somebody who's for it. What are their motivations? And when you understand motivations, then you can start to kind of piece things together, what somebody's trying to accomplish.
And I think that was the number one thing that I took away from him is realizing that all 13, including the mayor, want this to get done. I think we were so worried.
But there's
a scale, of course.
The ones that are on the outer reaches, they wanted to get done with, a $5 million rent fee with 5% escalators and full transparency. Like, yeah, there's some people on city council that, air quotes, want to get it done, but want to get it done their way with every single thing, line item. You can have this, you can't have this. And it's like, and you can draw some lines and know who those are very quickly.
And I think, this is what you and I have been kind of yelling about the last few days, is I was very concerned, and a lot of those concerns are put to bed. You are correct that it is everyone wants to get a deal done. Some of them want them fully on their terms, which just isn't going to happen. But I was very scared, and this is what I yelled about yesterday, is that there are some people that are just a no. I'm not giving a billionaire money. I don't care about sports. It's not worth my time. I'm out. To know that is at least semi put to bed makes me feel better. Now, the idea that all of them do want the Blazers here is also something that puts me to bed. And I do feel a little bit better about the Blazers staying here from that conversation we had. Look, Tom's always going to have that in his pocket. But as you said, don't press the button.
Yes. I'm not pushing back on you per se. Again, I think there is sure, let's use a personal example. I would like to make, I have $1 billion. You know what I mean? Or just use this money, the $600 million.
Sounds dope.
But it has to be under these circumstances, these things. So while they may say that they want it, but in reality they don't. You understand what I'm saying? It's like they want it, but with, 570 pages of all these amendments and all these terms and on my terms and those terms only. Right? And I'm not speaking for him here. Just discussions with him, discussions with other people on the political spectrum, people on the business side of things. Everybody I've talked to, if a vote was held with minor adjustments, and I wouldn't say minor, major adjustments to that term sheet, basically the labor union part, that's taken out. That in the price, the rent is cut in half with max 3% escalators. If you held the vote on that today, I think it would go 8-4.
We're not far away from it. Today's the 21st. What's the 12th? I'm not allowed to do quick math anymore.
Yeah, 3 weeks.
For obvious reasons. Let's see. What does the 12th look like? You and I have some stuff coming up. I am out that date.
Oh, perfect.
I am out that date. So hopefully we learn something and can figure it out by then. Look, again, I will say this. If any of you missed it, go back and listen to it. Casey will have the podcast up as soon as he can, or you can just rewind on the Odyssey app or YouTube. Again, I thought one thing that was very great, which I haven't seen from City Council, I haven't seen from the Trailblazers and Dad or Mom, I haven't seen a lot from the local media as well, of an actual discussion. And I think there were some aspects of that conversation and on the term sheet that are very Portland, and I think Wright alluded to it, and you have hammered it home, that this city is probably not the best fit for Tom Dundon. And maybe vice versa.
Well, here's the thing.
In terms of where their priorities are, how they view things politically, economically, might be a lot of different. But I think they've realized they kind of are married to each other and need to live with each other.
You could have somebody who is very left as a billionaire, which not a ton of those, but
I would argue there aren't any of them.
But you understand what I'm saying? I don't think
except for Bezos' ex-wife.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
And I still think billionaires act a certain way. Like I don't think it's a political thing. I think it's, again, this is gonna maybe put on my political cape here in a little bit. I think this would have been an issue regardless of who the owner was.
I think so as well.
Because there are certain members of that city council, and we know who they are. You can look up their political affiliations and draw a straight line, who are just gonna shake their fist no matter what.
And I think Tom is their worst enemy.
Oh yeah,
in the sense
that's the thing is like
Tom's F your feelings
with where he is and how he operates. That I agree. Like it's oil and water.
I don't love that approach from Dad. Like that is where I kind of and I don't love that approach from anybody. I think you can get what you want a lot easier. This is what I teach my children. You can get what you want a lot easier by having diplomacy, and putting your feet down and saying, "Come at me, bro," is not my best negotiation tactic. I don't like that. And that's my pushback with Tom. However, he is in a position where he's able to.
Yeah, he's standing on solid ground.
And you ask me, you've said this to me, if I'm Tom Dundon and I'm worth over $1 billion, $2 billion, whatever he's worth, and I have X amount of money invested in the Portland Trailblazers, would I act the way that broke Patrick Harris right now acts? I love to think so. I love to believe that I'm rooted in my philosophies and values, but I don't know that answer.
But when you don't get to that spot without operating that way.
Correct.
Reminder, where did he make his money?
Yes. From companies that I would never use because I understand the damage those companies can make.
Subprime loans. That's where he made his money.
Yeah, look, Bezos didn't make his money off a bookstore.
No. It started off as Amazon Books, but he also had a $300,000 investment from his family.
How many times did Bill Gates buy a company just to shut him down?
Yes.
It happens. It happens.
I mean, and Tom Dundon did that.
Yeah.
With a football league.
Yes. That is true.
So again, like this is like, I'm not saying that this is what I would do or how I would operate. I'm looking at, again, when we look at anything, what does the evidence show me? I can't go off of what I would do. I just have to look at, okay, Tom Dundon has done this. James Dolan has done this. Mark Walter has done this. Mark Cuban has done this. Like, you just have whatever owner, and Gail Benson in New Orleans, whatever you're
What's his name in Utah?
Yeah, Ryan Smith. How have they operated? And like, again, there's Dirt and Sprague had on the guy from Raleigh, and they were talking about how things went in the very beginning. It was a little rough, but guess what? He had a committee that he was working with. There's a group that runs the arena and the district that's there for the business side of things. And guess what they wanted? They wanted to be on board. So guess what happened? The deal got done.
Yeah.
Whereas you have people here who will say, and I'm not downplaying what Wright is saying, they're, in a sense, they are talking up both sides of their mouth. You can't say you want a deal to be done and then have a box that the deal has to operate in that nobody else is thinking that is the deal getting done.
Not operate in good faith is what you're talking about.
Yes.
That's the term he mentioned as well. I will say that I think what I'm most curious about now that I've become a lot more optimistic about this, and again, my opinions change as days go by. What do we always say? New information creates new opinions. I feel in a really good spot right now about this. I'll be interested to see if Tom Dundon does get this deal done and does get a lot of what he wants. Say that rent goes down, that percentage goes down, that $5 million goes down, and the labor disputes and stuff that, I'm actually pro-labor, but I understand the billionaire doesn't want it. If he gets kind of more what he wants than what the city wants, I'll be interested if things turn around for him. I'll be interested if this is the part of the argument where he knows he has to play the bad guy. He has to be the rich guy pushing people around. And after he gets what he wants and starts to operate how he wants, if things will lighten up for him. Because that's a big move for him. If he gets what he wants, then the ball's kind of in your court to change the narrative. Make the Moda Center look beautiful. Start talking about the area around it. Go get a big name free agent who's not Ja Morant. Like, if he starts doing those things that he did in Carolina that eventually built them into a championship, that's where all that good faith will come. And we'll look back on this in 10 years if the Blazers have a Western Conference Finals or an NBA Finals appearance or hell, a championship, kind of go, oh yeah, that was kind of ugly. Dad was kind of being a jerk then, wasn't he? And we can giggle and laugh about it. But the ball will be in his court after that, and he could use the positive PR afterwards. And if he walks out and says, "Ha ha ha, I won," boy, that ain't gonna look good.
No, and going back to the term sheet, I firmly believe it was a negotiating play from the city to say, "You need a term sheet? Here's a term sheet. Okay, cool." And it gave them enough wiggle room to be able to change some things, to have some amendments to it. But also, if it got to like, look, I'll just say this: this is me, for me, not for Tom Dundon, not for the city. If that got down to $1.8 to $2 million with 3% escalators, and the labor union piece was struck away, if that was where it got amended to, and that was put in front of the Blazers, whether or not they sign it or not, I think Adam Silver in the league would be like, bro,
just do it.
I think the city is hoping that the leverage that could create with the other owners, because the other owners are going to look around like, hey, man, that's a good deal.
Just
like,
get it
you,
done.
You need to.
Do they have that power to kind of whisper, wink, wink?
Yes, especially like, look, if this was Paul Allen, no.
Well, if this was Paul Allen, we wouldn't be in this situation.
Let's say we were. Mm-hmm. Let's just say we were. Tom Dunn's not the biggest swinging you-know-what at the table.
No. He's probably one of the smaller ones.
Yes, and so with that, he can be kind of, I don't want to say bullied, because I don't think he can be bullied, but they can lean on him. And I think I have to, like, I don't have faith in Adam Silver, but I have to have at least some faith and some understanding that the guy who clerked for Ron Wyden has some general understanding. And not only that, what political party does Ron Wyden represent?
Mine.
Democrats.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Who is?
I have to register for one.
There you go. But in this state,
I guess
who are the overwhelming majority of city council members and politicians?
Same.
Do you think Ron Wyden has some sway and some ability to maybe lean on some guys of like, hey, that term sheet needs to be a little bit better?
I agree. I do.
That's where you're looking.
He's a massively respected dude too.
Yes.
Long time serving.
Yes.
Even on the federal level, he is massively respected.
So you have to hope for some downstream consequences, isn't the right word. Downstream understanding of like, there's a reason why the state got this done so fast. What's happening this fall? Gubernatorial elections. They didn't want to sit there and have that thing be a thing that can leverage the crap out of them.
Mm-hmm.
No. We're not going to be the ones responsible for this. Well, the city doesn't have those same ramifications right now. So there's some, political grandstanding. There's some virtue signaling, whatever you want to call it. But you know what gets the other folks in line? When people who have more power than you start to apply pressure. And that's my hope, is that the downstream, again, not consequences, but momentum comes back around, and you can use that as leverage not only just on the city, but also on Tom Dundon, and go, all right, we're going to put some heads together here, and that's what gets this done.
We'll put a pin in this, maybe swing back around in closing arguments. Free consultation is next. You're more than willing to send in some questions, consultations you have about how you're feeling about this situation now, post Wright Gazaway being on the program for an hour, or you can throw in some fun ones. We got some in here. We'll go to free consultation next. 503-864-6326 is how you can put those in over on the YouTubes. Let's have a little fun next. That's Danny. I'm Patrick. 105.1 The Fan.
The Fan.
Free consultation. Do it every single Tuesday at 12:15. We take your questions and we try to steer you in the right direction. Help you out with your life, your work life, your love life, your Blazer life, your Rose Garden / Moda Center life, or anything else involved in that. Free consultation. First off, Danny, I'm in a pretty good mood right now.
Yeah?
Yeah. I've been a little stressed out the last few days.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I know. And I'm not quite sure why.
Yeah, and he's been taking it out on me every day.
I know, right?
Hey, you be quiet over there.
See, that's the difference. Is I just keep the bar, and it's like I just step over it. It's fine. I can just bully you every day. And then when I don't bully you, you're like, oh, Danny's being nice to him. No, I'm just not bullying.
Well, full disclosure, I did have therapy yesterday, as I like to call it. I had therapy yesterday, and I sat down. I was 4 minutes late, and I sat down, and my therapist goes, do you want to sit down and breathe for a moment? And I was just like, I don't understand what it is. I don't get it. I've been high tense lately.
Yeah, it happens.
I think it's just coming in waves. I think a lot of it too is that my AC unit is still broken in my house, and it was 81 degrees in my bedroom last night at 10 o'clock with the windows open because it was still 76 outside.
We took the dogs for a walk. I want to say at like 9:30 last night. It was 77 degrees still.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is wrong. It's nice, but damn.
This is the one time of year where I'm happy my apartment doesn't get direct sunlight.
Right.
We got an oscillating fan for my oldest's room, and found out at the dinner table they opened up the box and started to put together, and they were like, I don't know how to do this. Can you help me? And I was like, totally. Did you read the instructions? She goes, no, I'll figure it out. I was like, goodness gracious. And now I don't know if there's missing a piece or if two pieces have become one that aren't supposed to.
Is it making weird noises?
No, it can't stand.
Oh.
Thus defeating the purpose.
It ain't oscillating.
Yeah.
It's just a fan now.
Yeah.
You know, that's a Mitch Hedberg line. It's like the escalators. It's like the escalator doesn't work. It just becomes stairs.
Yes. Yes. Free consultation. We'll have a little bit of fun ones right here. Free consultation. Somehow my strictly indoor cats this week have gotten fleas. Anyone got a good product or remedy to get these little bleeps out of my carpet bedding couches? Buddy, you're in for a world of hurt, because let me tell you this, as someone who has owned an indoor cat for a lot of his life, them fleas come in on you, buddy.
Yep, they come in on your shoes.
They're coming in on you, my friend. So that's the tough
problem.
one. Now, the really brutal thing about like flea medicine that I have learned over the years as a shockingly large proponent of owning cats is the flea treatment can be very similar to like Febreze, that it fixes the situation. It does not cure the situation.
Temporary fix.
Yes, you will battle it.
You have to get the prescription stuff if you want to
Yes.
get rid of it. But also, you got to comb. Get yourself a big old like bucket of water and comb and drown. That's what you got to do.
And you are going to have to, unfortunately, like deep dive, clean your rugs, your carpets.
Yeah, this is where having hardwood floors is so great.
It's really brutal. I've been lucky. We are mostly hardwood floor in my house, so the dog and cat don't deal with it. But we also prescription treat them.
You can there's one over the counter one that works pretty well. I can't remember the name. Is it Symbicort?
I don't remember.
I think
my
that
wife
might be
handles
it.
all that stuff.
Don't quote
need
me on
that
that.
drop.
That might be the prescription
that
one,
drop.
because there's Frontline too, which is the other one that everybody uses. But yeah, no, my dog for the first time got him this year, and I was like, God dang it, and I had to go down that path. But hardwood floors, comb, and leather couches, so it was really easy to just kind of like take care of that, not have to worry about it too much. But yeah, no, it's just it's you know, it just you can find stuff that isn't nasty for your pets too. Go down that path.
Is there something that fleas, like, what is their purpose in life?
To be little bug Nazis.
Yeah.
That's pretty much. Also,
because like if you made mosquitoes extinct in the world, I don't think that there's a huge.
Oh no, it's a food source. Not for
that's
us,
a good
but
point.
For the rest of the animal kingdom, massive food source.
I'm sure fleas are as well. To some extent.
It's just something probably for smaller birds and things of that nature, but yeah.
Smaller ground animals.
Yeah. But yeah, no. That whole, I mean, I again, it still haunts. Ugh. When I was in North Dakota, first weekend I was there, I went fishing, and I was on the Red River, which it starts up there, goes all the way down.
I was like in Texas?
Yeah, same one. But since it's above the 45th parallel, it flows north. It's the largest north-flowing river, I believe, in the country. But we were out there fishing. My buddy who'd been there for about a year, he was like, "We got to go." I'm like, "Why?" He goes, "You'll see." We go sit in the car, maybe 10 yards off the river. He goes, "Shut the lights off." I was like, "All right." And I just hear this hum coming up the river, and it is a cloud of mosquitoes.
Ooh.
As
It's like cicadas when they come out.
Dude, it just came up the river, and you couldn't. It was a black cloud. And I turned off the car, or I turned off the lights, and then he goes, "All right, turn the lights back on." The car was covered. And I'm just like, what is this? It was the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. I'm like, never again. And he goes, "Don't get caught out here when the sun goes down." He goes, "You will get eaten." He goes, he showed me a picture. His whole body was covered in mosquito bites. He's like, "I had to go get malaria pills." And I was like, he goes,
just bathe in aloe.
Oh, dude, he was like, he had hundreds, if not thousands of mosquito bites. And I was like, okay, good to know.
Moving on. I'm out of here.
When the mosquito bites have mosquito bites.
Yes.
You've got a problem.
It was like, oh, dude, okay, file that note away. Never, ever, ever leave an hour before sun goes down when fishing on Red River. Gotcha.
Binary Brewing and The Fan have teamed up for the only Fan IPA available for a limited time. Taste The Fan with Binary Brewing's signature West Coast IPA. Go to Binary Brewing's Beaverton location. Ask them about their only Fan. So good, so good, so good. Only The Fan and Binary Brewing can pull it off. More free consultation next right here with Danny and myself. That's Casey over there with sports.
Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, your Portland Timbers have hired new head coach Marty Cifuentes ahead of tomorrow's matchup against FC Dallas inside Providence Park. The Spaniard brings more than 2 decades of coaching experience, most recently coaching Leicester City. As kickoff is set for 7:30 tomorrow, make sure to tune in right here on 105.1 FM and 1080 AM when pregame coverage kicks off at 6:30. Some NFL news for you as the Miami Dolphins and linebacker Jordan Brooks have agreed to a 3-year, $51.3 million extension. That includes $35 million in guarantees as Brooks, the 2-time league leader in tackles, now joins running back Devon Achane and center Aaron Brewer, who also signed long-term extensions to stay in Miami this offseason. Over to the MLB as Nolan Arenado became one of 6 MLB players in history to record 2,000 hits, 350 homers, and 10 gold gloves. Arenado achieved his 2,000th career hit Monday night on a double down the left field line, joining some elite company, as Arenado also becomes one of 6 active players to have at least 2,000 hits. And finally, our Portland Fire are back in action tomorrow night as they host the Dallas Wings inside the Moda Center at 7 p.m. Make sure to catch all of tomorrow's Fire coverage over on 9:10 a.m. when pregame starts at 6:45. And for more sports scores and stories in 30 minutes, I'm Lowercase from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt, missing work? Insurance companies acting like jerks? Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at WarrenAllen.com.
The home of the firm.
ของกินเนี่ยมะเขือ Did not flub at all.
Hide the money, y'all. There's poor people around.
The Firm of Harris and Marang on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
Hanging out here in free consultation for a little bit longer. Closing arguments next to send you on your way. We'll just get right back into this. Free consultation. Should I start a petition to get Wright Gazaway as a regular contributor to the firm? Buddy, the paperwork has already been submitted to hire the man full time.
Yeah, the text is out.
We'll just fight K2 to the death. Or maybe we're just buddies with K2. They've always been good to us.
I do quasi work there.
Oh, right.
Not Gazaway.
No, that was a lot of fun. If you missed any of that, go back and check that out. Podcast is up, so you can get that wherever you get your podcasts, or jump on the Odyssey app, which you can go find the chapters and jump through all that. Now we're in a free consultation Tuesday per usual, and this one comes in. How do you guys distinguish between being cheap or versus simply being frugal? I would say that when it starts to affect the well-being of others, it crosses over into the cheapness category. But if it's just your own personal quality of life, then it's frugal. I also feel like cheapness permeates every category of your life, while frugality can be focused on some specific areas.
Yeah, I mean, my fiance and I, we're frugal. I don't spend money.
My wife and I are terrible with money.
We
we constantly look at each other and go, "What is money? Money is
Hide the money, y'all. There's poor people around.
money is just a concept, babe."
the most ridiculous thing that I have spent money on as an adult, where like it would border on, air quotes, irresponsible, was my golf clubs. $3,700 on golf clubs.
See, and I'm kind of like the opposite of you. Most of my spending is on stupid
Beer.
things. Yeah, stuff like that. But that's
The
also
fun stuff.
Yeah, but it's also because I've built myself in a world where I don't spend a lot of money on me. You know, like this hat, for example. I've got this brand new U.S. soccer 90s throwback style hat. That's the first hat I've purchased for myself in probably a year and a half. Now, I've had some gifted to me.
Sure.
And through birthdays, Christmases, or I got some friends in that industry that sometimes throw me some cool stuff. But I also don't spend a ton of money on it. My wife will come home and be like, "Hey, I got you this shirt." I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool." So I think I've decided to spend my money on the fun stuff because I don't spend it on myself in other ways. Man, I got kids. I got to spend it on them.
Yeah, I mean, like I when I spend money, I will spend it on nicer things. You know what I mean? Like my studio back home, I have a nice computer, but like that's a thing that I spent money on because I can go, well, I use it for X, I use it for Y, I use it for Z. It's going to last however many years. Like when I buy a laptop, I buy a top-end slot, fully loaded. Like this laptop's about on its last legs. I bought this in 21. It was the top MacBook Pro that had the top chip in it. Like Apple Watches. This is my third one. But the first one I bought, I think, was 8 or 9 years ago. I get about 3 years out of them. You know what I mean? Like when I spend money, I spend on something nice. Sunglasses. I've got $250 sunglasses.
That's the one thing that I can't justify spending money on sunglasses.
Do you lose them?
I lose them all the time.
I'll tell you what, I didn't either. And then my wife bought me my sweet sunglasses for my 40th birthday, which was a year and almost 2 months ago. Still got them.
I got 2 pairs of
Now we had that scare that we don't talk about,
Yes.
but I still got them. They're in great shape.
I got 2 pairs of Oakleys at the bottom of the Deschutes River.
Many pairs of Oakleys are at the bottom of the Deschutes River.
These would not go rafting with me. But you know what I mean? Like it's the frugality of it all. Like I buy nice shoes, but I also wear them into the ground. Like I've got some On Clouds on right now. You know, they're like $180,
Now,
but it's like, I wear them till they're falling apart.
Could you argue that's the frugality? Is that you're spending money on the quality, but you're going to drive that beezy into the ground?
Like I could have
like my old pickup truck.
Yes, I could have a nice car, but I don't care. So I've got just a run-of-the-mill Ford Fusion.
And if you did buy a nice car, you would still run it to the ground.
I'd get 150, 180,000 miles out of it and beat the living crap out of it.
Whoa, you are way underestimating. My Bronco Sport's hitting 275. There ain't no doubt about it.
You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, totally.
Bare minimum. Like, I bought that car with 4,000 miles on it. I think I've got 110 on it right now.
I should probably be more frugal. I am not cheap. I very notoriously will buy a round of beer for people for no reason. Like, sometimes I go across the street and grab coffee.
Yeah.
And Casey's like, hey, can you give me a Red Bull and a muffin? And he gives me $5. And it's like, dude, that ain't going to cost it.
That
ain't going to cover it.
It never covers.
But I do and don't give him grief about it or dox him on the air
There you go.
because I just like him and I'm willing to do that.
It's a simple
I will
fix.
not penny pinch him because
No.
I just don't care on that. If we're all at the bar, I'm like, guys, I got the first round. And if we decide that's the only one we're going to have, I'm not going to be like, well, I got the last one, guys. It's your turn now.
Look, I if we're out at dinner, I have no problem throwing the card down.
No, me neither.
You know what I mean? Like, that's cool. It's not a like, oh, you'll get it next time. Hey, you may not.
I like to throw it down on my father-in-law.
Yeah, there you go. Oh,
That's a power play.
power play.
That's a big power play.
It's
Well, he usually buys dinner, so every once in a while I'm like, I got this, buddy.
yeah,
But I can still feel him. Like,
yeah. No, I mean, we had the engagement dinner after I proposed, and we had 22 people there, and nobody knew that I was covering it all, and so everybody's like, well, when I got in there, I was like, hey guys, it's good.
mm-hmm. Yep.
I go, if you want drinks though, that's on you.
Sure.
I've already forked out enough here, but it was like, I have no problem doing those. Again, frugality, like our wedding, like we're not going crazy. We set a budget and we're going to go do that. Do you know what the average cost of a wedding is in this region?
I'm going to need you to sign a document saying you won't go over the money that we are providing you.
Yeah, right. Oh, God. Unbelievable.
I don't know. I mean, I know what mine costs, but I think they're just all over the place. Like, what's the average number of attendees to a wedding?
Well,
100 people? Would you say 100 people? Because I think I had like 130. I acknowledge that's kind of big.
Yeah.
When I say 130 people, like, whoa, hey, that's kind of a big one. But I mean, what is the middle ground? Is the middle ground 75? Is the middle ground 100? Like, you're going to do what, 30, 50?
No, we're under 60. I think we're at 56. I think was the final total that we landed on. But it was like, looking at everything, like, number one, it's a Sunday night, so we want to get everybody out of there. You got to work on Monday.
Wrap it up.
Let's go wrap it up. I'm having a wrap it up, Bucks. Hey, we got to be out of here. Let's go. But it's like all the things that came with it was, okay, do we really need to have a band? No. Do we need to have, linens and tablecloths and napkins and all these things that are custom embroidered and centerpieces? And it's like, you start looking at stuff, it's like $2,000 to do that. And I'm like, for what? Like, what are we doing here? Like, you're going to be here for 3-4 hours and we're going to pack it up and let's go. Like, we're good. So it's like, no problem spending money, but it's like frugal.
This texter, why buy $50 shoes every year when you can afford the $200 that will last a decade? Work boot theory, expensive being poor.
Yes.
It is expensive being poor, and you can thank a lot of your government leaders for that. Just throwing that out there.
But it's like, again, like work-related things, I buy nice stuff.
Because it's going to last you a long time.
If I buy a round for friends and they ask me if I want Venmo, I always say, are we not friends?
Yeah.
That's how I kind of look at it, too.
Now, look, if you're going out to the...
depends how many people I just bought the round
if
for.
We're,
yeah, 35, you're like, sure do.
Yeah.
Here it is, pass it around the table.
Exactly. That's kind of my point. Like, look, if we all go out we're at El Gaucho, and I throw the card down, I'm like, hey, I want the points.
Sure.
Everybody's got a $200 plate.
I've been in that situation before.
I got no problem with that. Like, hey, you know what? I've been with some guys back in the day where it was a fight because we wanted our points. So it was a rush to see who got the card in first. It was like, I don't know, I want my points.
Last thing I'll say on this, and then we'll move on. I have nice sunglasses that never leave my car. And when I'm outside or on vacation, I use $10 pairs. So do you never use your sunglasses? Just when you're driving?
It depends on what level of vacation or outside we are. If we're outside if I'm outside on the boat, I've got an old pair of Oakleys that are literally from when I was in the service.
I got 2 pair in the car. The nice ones and the El Cheapos.
Yeah, they aren't cheap. They're just beat up. Like, again, these things are 20 years old.
Do we start saying I got a pair of Dundons out in the car?
There you go. Smell Cheapos. Have a cigar and call it the El Cheapo. It's Cuban.
Sorry, Dad. I love you.
You don't.
Don't hurt me. I didn't deserve it, I promise.
Mm-hmm.
Closing arguments send you on your way next. 105.1 The Fan. All right, that's going to do it for us. Closing Arguments brought to you by Leskin Law. Visit leskinlaw.com for more information. Coming up on the program tomorrow, some nuggies left over from SEC Media Day. We'll see if there's any news on this Moda Center stuff, or maybe we take a little hiatus on a little bit. I want to really start getting more into college football, Danny. I had a lot of fun talking about that today. Maybe I'll ask the question, if the SEC broke away, would you watch? Maybe we'll do that tomorrow. If it was his own thing by itself, would you watch that? Because I think there's a lot of layers to that as possible. But we'll close up today with just some kind of overarching final opinions on this Blazer Center deal, because I think it would benefit a lot of us to let it breathe for a little bit, kind of let things calm down. I think tensions are a little high right now. I thought Wright was awesome in putting things in perspective, and that's what real journalists do. And thanks to him and K2 for all the hard work, and more importantly, thanks to Mrs. Gazaway for allowing Wright to put in the time and effort to do that. Because, buddy, I know what you're talking about when it says, hey, can you turn your phone off? I totally understand that. I think, I said this at the top of the Big Nooner. I feel a lot better about the situation. I feel a lot more at ease in the sense that, okay, it's negotiations. You know, I think the grandstanding
negotiations are supposed to be contentious. That's the whole point.
Yeah, and I think the grandstanding kind of pissed me off on both sides. That it's kind of made me real sour about the story and made me feel the whole thing is really toxic. When in reality, that just might be when the cameras are rolling. Because it sounds behind the scenes everybody wants to get it done. To the leveling degree of how they want it done, yeah, that's going to be different. But I love that the mayor's on board for this. Because look, Danny, even you who have been a staunch critiquer of new boss, even you, we all agree that the Blazers have to be here.
Yes.
And we might be married to Tommy D for a while.
And here's the thing, is like, I'm not anti-Tom Dundon. I'm anti-stop stepping on, baby puppies. Like, just stop doing the things that are just drawing all the negative attention. We talked to Wright about this, and the whole idea of, like, if he had 3 or 4 years of runway and then this happened, where he had a little more cachet and there's a little bit more success and there's a better understanding, there would be more trust.
Yeah.
But when you come in and the first thing that you do is make PR gaffe after PR gaffe, you fire people. One of the people that were fired is the person that's helping negotiate this deal.
Yeah, I'd be curious to find how many owners have been in this situation. Not to excuse, but how many owners have been in a situation that walked in, bought him in marketing, advertisement, maybe, depending on how you view it, some reckless spending within the organization. Definitely needs a new stadium or massive upgrades in a city that very much feels politically different than you do. I think Dad's in a weird position that I don't know if a lot of owners have been in. Has he stepped in it? Sure. I'm definitely not gonna apologize for him in that. But it's a lot to take on when you first buy a team.
But here's the thing.
But you got a lot of money and you knew what you were getting into.
Yes, and if you didn't, that's a failure on you.
Agreed.
We talk about this whole idea of, like, you either knew and you're pretending otherwise, or you didn't know and that's your fault. If you're spending, collectively $3 billion as a group and you didn't understand the economics of Portland and the politics of Portland, brother, it doesn't matter if you watch Fox News or CNBC or MSNBC, everybody's saying the same thing.
Yeah.
And the data, look, and this is where, those who disagree with me politically get all up in arms. The data is the data is the data. And we were talking about it pre-show. I shared with you all of the economic data. And this was not from some outkick the coverage, right-leaning, this was the Commerce Department of Portland. This was put out in February. And it was line item after line item after line item of the economy sucks. And it's being outpaced by pretty much every other major market in the country. That is a fact. And if you're talking about economic investment, something's got to give, something's got to change, and it's not on the owner's side that's going to happen.
Yeah, I also think there's the same aspect that you can flip on Portland City Council, which is a brand new style of council. It's not 5, it's 12.
Which I would argue was also a bad idea.
I support you in that theory as well. So now it's 13 instead of 6. And they are now in uncharted territory about how to go about this situation. We as fans are in uncharted territory on how to get through this situation. Hell, you and I as media members are in uncharted waters about how to deal with this situation because we had Daddy Warbucks for a long time. That, listening to Wright, sounds like there was stuff in place that had Paul not passed, this would have never been a situation in the first place. In fact, giving the Moda Center to the city, they probably would have been more inclined to renovate it because it was going to directly fund their pockets, with a new stadium being funded by Paul Allen. And so I think that's part of it as well. All parties, whether you're the bystanders or the parties involved, we're all in uncharted territory here. Tom's never been in the NBA, okay, which is, as you've screamed from the heavens, is a very different situation than being in the NHL.
Scaling.
I've never been in a situation where I ever thought the Blazers were going to leave Portland, ever. I've also never been in a situation where my favorite team in my local market has been purchased. I don't think I lived here when Paul bought the Blazers. Or if he did, I'm too young to really understand.
88, 89?
Oh, dude, I'm 4 years old. I don't get here till 97. So I'm too young to know when Paul bought it. So that's uncharted territory for me. And I think
that's why it's such a big deal, because this is the first time ownership has changed hand in 30 plus years.
And that's why I don't want to give us credit for it, but that's why we wanted Wright in studio. It's a little more intimate.
Yes.
And that's why Wright right now is looking like the best person to listen to. Okay, there's some people out there that I think have good stuff to say and have some kind of fear-mongering, riled-up things to say. I want the journalist, the TV guy that is just trying to get answers. And I think that's huge.
And that's the thing. It's like, this is where I go with everything. What does the evidence show me? Whether it's Portland City Council or Tom Dunn and the Blazers, what does the evidence show me?
I'm about to sit down with Ned Grabavoy. Check that out tonight on Timbers Fan from 7 to 8 on the new Portland Timbers head coach. Real fun day around here today, guys. Thank you for being a part of it. Go back and listen to it if you missed any of it, and we might circle back tomorrow. Closing Arguments brought to you by Leskin Law. Visit leskinlaw.com for more information. Leskin Law's one-day divorce mediation, peace treaties, not war plans. For Danny Marang, that's Casey Smith. I'm Patrick Harris. Go do something I would do.
Bye.